This is a HeadGum podcast.
Welcome back to another brand new episode of All Fantasy Everything. I am your host, Ian Karmel, and today, my friends, we are joined by Erin Mallory Long and Kerri Doherty. And together, we are going to be fantasy drafting the 1990s. Nothing specific about the 1990s, just the 1990s in general. And not like I draft 1997. Not like that. We're going to be drafting things from the 1990s. So that's what we're doing today. I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be so much fun. We have the two perfect guests for it. Erin Mallory Long is you're a writer, you're a producer. I would call you a bon vivant. I would call you a fashion icon.
Wow, thank you.
I would call you in Instagram 90s stylistic inspiration for people all around the globe.
Yeah.
I'm going to bless you with all those titles. Also, you have the Best of Friends podcast where you talk about the television program Friends.
I do. And I'm wearing, appropriately, a Friends t-shirt right
You are.
now.
You're fully branded.
So.
Yeah. You have a series of videos on YouTube. Just look up Erin Mallory Long on YouTube. They're great. You take just a random topic and you do a really funny video, like a fun 3-minute video on it.
It's always it's under this umbrella of how to. So it's like,
yes, that's right. Yeah.
How to be a Virgo, how to be a girl. And I do a very bubbly, positive character, which I do not actually exist as.
Right. It is a very stylized character. Yeah. What was the How to Graduation one? Was a fun one.
Yep.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. They're all timely. They're seasonal. Make sure you check those out. Joining Erin Mallory Long and myself, we have Kerri Doherty. You're a television writer. You wrote for the Goldbergs. You have a new thing coming out called Hollywood Darlings.
Yes.
Talk to us about this because it sounded so interesting when you briefly talked about it.
It is. Thank you for having us both, by the way, Ian.
Please. What a pleasure it is and a privilege.
I just finished writing on a show, Hollywood Darlings, that's going to be airing on Pop, I believe, in March or April.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like an improv comedy show like Curb, starring 3 lovely women from 90s television shows whom we love.
How perfect.
It is Jodie Sweetin, who played Stephanie on Full House, Beverly Mitchell, who played Lucy on Seventh Heaven, and Christine Lakin, who played Al, the tomboy, on Step by Step.
Yes.
Love
So, literally a dream job.
That's amazing. It couldn't have been more in the pocket for you.
It couldn't. And in the first episode, literally in the cold open, because the showrunner was like, if you guys, all the writers are also performers, and she's like, if you want to, be in it, let us know.
Oh, that's great. So yeah,
I literally put myself in the first scene of the first episode. So it'll be amazing.
Can't even sample it without getting a taste of Kerri Doherty.
Yeah. So I will be in the first scene, the first episode, just playing like a super fan who nerds out on the girls, and I'm like, this is acting, wink, wink. But like,
how do you writers come up with this stuff?
Yeah, really. I was just like, I don't need to do any research to make really specific references about an episode of Seventh Heaven.
Oh,
so, it was awesome.
You also have a podcast yourself where you talk about the television program Golden Girls.
Yes, I love how you call it a television program.
Yes, gotta class up our industry as much as you can, I think.
Yeah, and I do. It's called Out on the Lanai,
yeah.
And every week, me and my friend H. Allen Scott, who's also a comedian,
I love when someone does that with their name.
It's
amazing. When they just initial
really
the first one, that's really great.
He's got a great story behind it. You should go to the podcast and find out why.
Is his name Hitler?
No, it's actually
Hitler Allen Scott.
Hitler Allen Scott. It's actually Honinger.
Oh, yeah.
And people would pronounce it in a way that...
Oh, no. Say no
I didn't
more.
have to say it. Yeah, no.
Say no more.
Yeah, so...
Yikes.
Yeah. That's why he goes by H. Allen Scott. But every week we watch an episode of The Golden Girls, and then we talk about it, and we go chronologically. And we also do live shows, and we have done interviews with former writers on the show, and also cast members.
There's some amazing writers who came out of there, right?
Yeah, Joss Whedon, Mitchell Hurwitz, Mark Cherry.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Well, you watch it, it makes complete sense. It's such a good program.
And it holds up.
It really does. Well, what more could you ask for? That's fantastic. Make sure you check that out. If you want to follow them on social media, Erin is at Erin Mallory Long. or just Erin Mallory Long on Instagram and stuff like that. Kerri is at Squid Eats Squid on Twitter and at Squidsy on Instagram. Or just Squidsy on Instagram.
Yeah,
Spelled
I
exactly
am
like you think with an S.
bad at branding, guys.
I don't know. I feel like you've got the Squid writer corner kind of locked up.
Yeah, I think I do.
Yeah.
I think I do.
You might
That's
be
a
the
good
best
point.
at branding.
Mine is just my name.
yeah, right?
That's not original.
Boring.
Oh, you got the whole EML. Yeah, you kind of. Mine's also just my name.
Yeah.
Just Ian Karmel. Except for on Snapchat, because I didn't think it was going to become a big thing. And I just used my Xbox gamer tag, which is Jorge Gorgeous. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
amazing.
Which is I would love to have that on like the back of like a satin jacket. Just
Yeah,
Jorge
for sure.
Gorgeous. Yeah, but anyway, so we're about to get to the draft. The way we determine the order is through a game of rock, paper, scissors played between Erin and Kerri. To determine who will pick the order. It is a rock, paper, scissors, and then shoot.
Okay.
And it's 1 out of 1.
Okay.
None of this best out of 3 shit. No second chances on All Fantasy Everything.
I don't want any second chances.
None of that. All right. So you're whenever you're ready,
Okay.
and I will narrate in a compelling way.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh! Erin wins with a scissors over paper. It was tense in here. It was tense, but people seem happy with it. So, Erin, you have to pick the order. Again, this is a serpentine draft.
Okay, so I just pick who
goes first, second, and third. Or you can just pick first and second, and through deduction, we can figure out
I'll
who's
just pick
third.
second and third, and then that'll be.
You pick all of them.
Yeah.
I go first. Nobody's ever done it before. And then it's just you talking about your favorite things from the 90s for an
Yeah,
hour.
right. I think I want Kerri to go first,
Okay.
and then you'll go second, and I'll go third.
Fantastic.
That's what I want.
That's what's going to happen. So
That's
without
what you
further,
really, really want.
Yeah, that's what I want.
without further, also I just want to say right now that you mentioned you were wearing a Friends t-shirt.
Yeah.
Kerri is wearing a Pete and Pete t-shirt. You couldn't be dressed more appropriately for the occasion.
Yeah.
I feel
It's just
terrible
our
'cause
whole lives.
I'm just wearing a black t-shirt. It's awful.
It's okay. I'm sure there is a character in a 90s film or television show that wore all black.
There must have been, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I am dressed as the one of the characters from the Bone Thugs and Harmony video.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is exactly right.
Yeah, and when I say the one, you know, not
Crossroads.
Thuggish, right? Crossroads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I'm Easy E's weird holographic ghost.
There you go.
Okay, so without further ado, it's time to get to the 90s edition of All Fantasy Everything. Kerri, you have the first pick.
So does this just mean I just get to read one of them off of my list?
You pick whichever one you want to go first, whichever one you think might not be there. Whatever the most coveted thing from the 90s for you is.
Oh, the most coveted thing from the 90s. Let's see. I'm going to go with Lisa Left Eye's rap from the TLC hit Waterfalls.
That's such a good pick.
That is good.
That is such a R.I.P. by the way.
I
Yeah.
know.
R.I.P.
Seriously.
Left Eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just writing that down. Yeah, that's a fantastic pick. It comes at you in the middle of that song. Mm-hmm. It's been such a smooth, cautionary tale up until that point.
Yeah, it's amazing. And sometimes in radio versions they don't play it.
Right.
And it's a catastrophe.
And they wonder why
anytime
radio's
they don't.
dying.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I get
Play the fucking rap.
take out one chorus. They sing the chorus of the song so many times.
Totally.
Just
totally.
maybe leave it out once just to get
to
that
get the
rap in
rap.
there. Because the rest is like a slow, smooth burn of a song, and her rap gives a little pep.
No, you need it. You need it. That video
Oh my god.
is like incredible.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Because it's like kind of a 90s like hip hop R&B video, but then intercut with these like cautionary tales.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys saw I believe it was on VH1, not Lifetime, but I think they did the TLC biopic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
They recreated, I mean, it was cast so well, but they recreated those music videos. They did Waterfalls, they did Creep, No Scrubs, and they
Creep is another
looked
good one.
amazing. All that satin.
Yeah, Creep is.
Yeah.
That's a kind of sexual I will never get to
Yeah.
in my life.
I don't know that
The
anybody
Creep
will,
music
Ian.
video?
No.
No. There's no way, right? To get to that level, just satin pajamas, but yeah.
With
When I wear
wind blowing at you. And,
Right?
Yeah.
When I wear satin pajamas, I look like Christmas morning. Like just like kind of like just like kind of gross, like drunk off Bailey's at like 11. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of vibe. Not at all like, oh, this guy's gonna come fuck. Like it's not nothing like that. Super lame.
All of TLC is like too sexual for me. Like,
oh yeah,
like when I was a kid and that CD came out, like I didn't want to ask my parents for it for Christmas because I didn't want to have to say that the title was Crazy Sexy Cool.
Oh, I had no problem asking.
Like I did not want to tell.
No, I
didn't
got
want
it.
to say
I got
the
it
word
for Christmas.
sexy to my parents. Like, I was like, no.
When I was so weird about that kind of stuff in the 90s as well. Like when Alanis Morissette's first CD came out, and I'd be in like the car with my dad listening to it. And when she was like, "Go down on you in a theater," I was like, what could that mean? I don't know. Not me. I'm 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the problem with that song is, because I was in 7th grade when that came out, 7th or 8th grade. And I remember when the song, we would like sing along to it at school dances, like awkwardly throwing our bony, tween bodies around to it, not knowing. I had no idea what that meant.
Right.
So I was singing it.
Yeah.
Well, no.
No.
I didn't know, like, Go Down on You in a Theater.
Go Down on You
it's
in a
one of
Theater.
those things, like, I'm 12. I'm just
Totally.
singing along. I don't know what it means. And they played it at school dances.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I felt about
the
the TLC song Red Light Special.
Oh,
that
one was sexy.
I know this is sexy, but I don't really get what's going on. And like, I remember similarly being in the car with my dad. It came on and I literally was like, I'm going to change the channel and like just switch the station. Because I was like, I'm like 11. Like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
And if I'm going to, it'll be alone in my room later. Like, definitely not in a car with you, Dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, they sang like, it kind of vocal fry singing, but with them it just sounded like they were always singing in the middle of an orgasm. Kind of like it was that kind of.
Well,
like
T-Boz,
yeah.
I mean, her voice was deep, and
Velvety.
it was like, velvet.
Yeah.
It was. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about T-Boz's voice right now. T-Boz is the B. Arthur. If they ever, if they ever bring Golden Girls back, I hope they cast T-Boz as Dorothy Zbornak because she's got the voice for it.
Totally. Oh my God.
You just took Left Eye's rap, but I'm going to give you the entirety of Chasing Waterfalls. I think
That's okay. Yeah.
I think we just wrap that into that is T-Boz's or Left Eye's rap is definitely the figurehead on the front of your ship. Mm-hmm. But you got to have the rest of that ship too.
Oh yeah.
Did you know anyone who thought it was Jason Waterfalls?
No.
Don't go Jason Waterfalls.
No. Did you?
No. Come on.
What a name, I guess. I don't know.
I think it was one. I've heard of people confusing those. I've heard of people who thought it was "Don't Go Jason Waterfalls."
Wow.
And they would just sing along to it, thinking those were the lyrics.
I have never heard that.
Because nothing Jason Waterfalls makes much more sense.
No, it doesn't.
But also, if you're a parent, if your last name is Waterfalls, that's a cool last name, right?
Great last
Totally.
name.
But you have a baby and you name it Jason? Like,
Maybe you're mad at your hippie parents who changed it from cats to waterfalls, and that's why you name your kid Jason?
Maybe, yeah.
It could be something like that.
God.
Waterfalls would be a dope last name.
Waterfalls is a really good name.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest, like, celebrity weird kid names that I love, I believe it's Penn Jillette, who his daughter's name is Moxie Crime Fighter.
It is Moxie Crime Fighter.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, and
That's
like Crime
amazing.
Fighter, the like less sort of common name, that's the middle name.
Yeah,
so
Crime Fighter.
Moxie, that's an amazing name. Moxie,
Moxie
Gillette.
is a good name.
I feel like you stick Crime Fighter there in the middle when you want your kid to definitely go by Moxie. He's like, I'm so sold on Moxie that I'm going to give him a middle name that they could never possibly go by.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't co-opt your middle name
They
anymore.
couldn't Hitler Allen it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
You can't do that.
Crime Fighter. Does remind, like, when people's last name just used to be the thing that they did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Cobbler.
Cobbler, butler.
Smith,
yeah.
blacksmith, yeah.
That would be like, I'm so glad they don't do that anymore.
It'd be so upsetting now.
It would be Ian. Sometimes writes for TV shows and does a little bit of stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freelancer. Like,
Erin Mallory freelancer.
Yeah.
What an amazing first. One fun fact about Waterfalls. It was produced.
Wait, Jason Waterfalls or the song Waterfalls?
One fun fact about my friend Jason Waterfalls: allergic to peanuts. No, the song "Chasing Waterfalls" produced by Organized Noise, which is the production house that also did like all of the Dungeon Family and Outkast early stuff.
Oh, wow.
So there are these guys in Atlanta who like did this crazy like Southern hip hop and like sort of started Southern hip hop.
Wow.
And then also They came up with a beat for Chasing Waterfalls.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's really cool.
Organized Noise. They're super dope. I was just telling Eric, the producer, there's a documentary, The Art of Organized Noise, on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Well worth the watch.
Okay.
And they got Big Boy and like Andre are in it, and then like all the Dungeon family. It's super fun. It's a very interesting story.
All right.
They did some other big R&B hits that I can't remember right now, but you would also be like, what? Those motherfuckers did that too?
Yeah. All out of Atlanta?
A lot of the Southern stuff, yeah.
Cool.
But then also bridged out to, because the TLC connection, but other stuff too. Excellent first pick.
All right.
Lisa Left Eye Lopez's rap and Chasing Waterfalls.
Yes.
Amazing. Beautifully specific. They don't all have to be that specific, but that one is so beautifully specific.
No, I love it.
Amazing first pick. So we are on now. I'm going second, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, okay. With the second pick, it's especially prescient now. I'm going to take the O.J. Simpson trial.
Ooh.
From the 90s.
Okay.
It's a gruesome reason, and I take no joy in the thing that spurred it, but it has given us so many gifts. Gifts and gifts. It was just massive. I remember it being, it was 94. I was 10 years old. Mm-hmm. It was the first thing that I truly felt like, maybe other than the 92 Olympics, was the first thing that I felt like the country was all experiencing together.
Yes.
All like your friends at school were talking about it. Your teachers were heavily invested. We watched the verdict.
We did too. We watched the verdict in school.
At school. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine doing that now? I think the teachers were just like, well, the internet's not a thing. I'm going to,
we need to find out.
Yeah.
I don't remember watching the verdict in school, but I remember that the chase happened while I was watching like TGIF or something. And it got interrupted, and then I was like bored. And so I went downstairs, and I was like, my parents were like, what are you doing? Why aren't you watching TV? And I was like, I don't know, there's a car chase on TV. And they got so mad at me that I didn't immediately alert them, because then they switched off whatever movie they were watching and started watching the news, and they were like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I was like, what's happening?
It's also interesting that they were upset with you as if, as a child, because I don't recall being aware of the trial while it was going on. I remember watching the verdict in school because, again, I was 12, so I feel like I probably didn't fully grasp what was going on. But it's interesting that your parents were like, wait, you didn't say it was OJ, as if you'd been following the trial as a child.
I think I do remember it a little more exaggerated than it probably was. I'm sure my mom would be listening and be like, come on, we weren't mad. But it was definitely oh my God, this is big news. You didn't tell us. And I was like, I don't have any idea what's going on.
Yeah. Well, it all happened so quick. That was only 5 days after the murder itself took place. That was June 17th, 94.
Right, because I definitely wasn't aware that the murder happened. The first thing I was aware of was the chase. And then I kind of was like, what's going on now? And I had I love The Simpsons, and so The Simpsons made references to it.
Now, what is The Simpsons? No, I'm just joking.
They made references to O.J. Simpson stuff. Yeah. And then I would be like, oh, I kind of get that. But
Isn't that interesting how you learn about one thing from something completely different in pop culture or something? It's very interesting that you learned about O.J. Simpson through The Simpsons.
I learned most things through The Simpsons, though.
I kind of feel the same way. Most of my pop culture knowledge, especially stuff going back, where you learned it from The Simpsons.
Totally.
There'd be Citizen Kane references. Mm-hmm. And then by the time you see Citizen Kane, you're like, oh, from The Simpsons.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've done that with so many things. Oh, that's a joke on The Simpsons. I get it now.
I learned about Citizen Kane from Kids in the Hall.
Oh, yeah. A little cooler. Yeah. I often wonder. Somebody should draft The Simpsons, but of course. But they I just wonder what comedy would be like now without it. But going back to the OJ trial, it was amazing. It gave us so many amazing characters. I was a fan. I followed the trial maybe because my dad was a lawyer, or something like that. But I had a set of Pogs, again, something that might come up later. I still have them. O.J. Simpson trial Pogs that had
oh my God.
There was Al Cowlings on there. There was a Marsha Clark one. The Slammer was the Bronco Chase.
Oh,
this gold
my God.
Bronco Chase Slammer. I have them in a box, I think, over at Sue Carmel's house, my wonderful mother, who keeps getting referenced. But the trial was amazing. It sort of grasped the whole country. I remember the crazy Time magazine cover where they made him look darker and what a fucking dirty pool that was. Yeah, ugh, just disgusting. Time magazine of all people doing that.
Did you guys watch the 30 for 30?
I just finished it recently.
Oh, that's right. You were just watching it.
I just watched it.
It was good.
It was really great. Yeah. No, but that was really what. It was such a big cultural moment that I like had no idea the details of what was going on.
They were insane.
Like, because we're too little, like we're just little kids, and like I had no idea what was happening. So watching that was really like really crazy and like eye-opening.
Such a well done document. It was so good.
I've gotten, like, ever since I was in high school, I've been, like, a big true crime junkie.
Yeah.
I even, in 11th grade, wrote a paper on why I thought maybe John Benet Ramsey's parents killed her. Like, I also wrote a term paper in high school about why I thought Kurt Cobain was murdered. But anyway, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and there's this one that is called Real Crime Profile. It's hosted by, like, former FBI profilers, and it was very interesting. They were saying that like their theory was that OJ had help, that somebody actually was like holding people back. Like maybe he was holding or someone else was maybe holding them while OJ was doing the stabbing.
God.
But bottom line is and again, it will never happen because at this point, I think like a lot of the physical evidence maybe has been contaminated or whatever, or too much time's passed. But they were saying that like one of the theories was that maybe OJ's son helped him.
I've heard that.
So if anybody could ever, get enough evidence to prove that OJ's son was maybe the one that was actually physically doing the stabbing and OJ was the one holding people, that if his son were arrested, OJ could be arrested again for accessory to murder, which is a different charge, and you can't. It's not double jeopardy.
Yeah.
Wow. So that if they were, and again, it's never going to happen, and OJ's in prison now anyway. Yeah. But and I know they won the civil suit, but if ever anybody else was actually arrested for the murder, he could be arrested for accessory.
Yeah, because his son wrote like these crazy letters and had like journal entries where like talking about like violent thoughts and how he wanted to kill people and stuff like this.
Oh my God,
that's nuts.
It's so crazy,
and it's the one person OJ could have never pinned it on because it's his own son, his son from a previous marriage.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Oh my God.
Oof, that's crazy.
Yeah, because Nicole's poor kids were just sitting in the house,
asleep upstairs,
asleep. Can you
People versus O.J. Simpson, another amazing show. It was so good.
And so 90s.
So
heavy.
90s.
They like just with David Schwimmer being in it. Like it's so like 90s.
Schwimmer and Travolta.
It's just great.
Did you not like it?
No, I did.
Okay,
I loved it. It was campy. It was a little campy at times.
Totally.
That was the thing.
It was
Ryan Murphy.
Yes, it was Ryan Murphy. But like you would get these amazing performances out of Sarah Paulson and Courtney B. Vance, and you'd get all these amazing performances out of these actors, and I'm like feeling very emotional watching this. It feels very dramatic, and then you get to this sort of that Ryan Murphy campy. Suddenly we go into Kim Kardashian's bedroom and there's posters of Jonathan Taylor Thomas up on the wall and the kids are all chanting Kardashian, and we're kind of, making, it was so tonally sometimes it sort of shifted for me, and I had a hard time with, the balance of the sort of campiness to the real emotional drama. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it though.
Because Paulson and Courtney B. Vance were playing at Hall of Fame levels.
Oh, man. I love Sterling K. Brown in it, too.
Oh, Sterling K. Brown
was great.
Who got the Emmy, right? Sterling and Sarah Paulson.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah Paulson, yeah.
Did Courtney B. Vance win one?
I don't remember.
I'm
not going to lie, guys. I didn't even know that the Emmys were on. I missed them.
I know that Sarah Paulson got the Emmy.
She fucking nailed. She was so good.
She was great.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that series was benefited by what felt like to me a toned down Ryan Murphy involvement.
Yeah.
They had such amazing directors. They had like John Singleton directing.
Yeah, because he wasn't like, it wasn't American Horror Story, the O.J. Simpson trial.
Right.
Thankfully.
Right.
Like I was like it's better if Ryan Murphy's like kind of involved in something, but like sort of
not
like taking a backseat.
Yeah, they're like, what if Johnny Cochran's mouth is full of moths?
Totally.
And every time he talks, moths fly out. You're like, well, that didn't happen.
Settle down a little bit, and then maybe we can talk.
All right, so I'm taking the OJ trial with my first pick, the second pick of the first round. Erin Mallory Long, you have your first pick, the final pick of the first round. Pick number 3.
Okay. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I think what I want to do is the Rachel haircut.
Oh my God, what a good pick.
Thank you.
That's so great. Yeah.
Mostly because of my love of Friends, but also like it's just so interesting to me, like a haircut like having that much of an impact.
Yeah, that's a rare. That doesn't happen a lot.
No.
Yeah.
And like then it happened later in my life with Kerri Russell on Felicity.
Yes.
So it was just like this weird, like, this was the first time I had seen a haircut that I knew and was looking at like become a phenomenon.
Rachel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a lot of like, I never used to do anything to my hair. Like I was a little kid and like I just had like very thick bangs and like very stick straight hair. And then like this haircut came out and I was like, maybe I want layers.
Yeah.
And they don't look good on me.
No.
But I had that.
Well, you had to dip your toe in the water at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, but I also got layers. I got like the Rachel haircut like 5 years after the Rachel haircut happened. Like it was like it was like a throwback at the time. Like if you figure that haircut happened in like 94, I definitely got it in like 98. Like because like then I was in 8th grade and I was like, I can do whatever I want. Like
of course, yeah. That's when you start trying to figure out who you are as a person.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're not a kid anymore. You definitely have not solidified your personal style. You make a lot of mistakes in that area.
Yeah. It's just like a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And Erin, now you know the story behind how she got that haircut, right? From her stylist.
I mean, tell me again.
I've heard a few different things. I've heard that like her stylist was either like drunk or on a ton of coke, or I don't remember. I've heard that somewhere. Yeah, maybe that's the only story I have heard.
I haven't heard that specifically, but I knew that it wasn't meant to be like, and then this is an awesome way to do your hair.
Right.
Like it was just kind of like a random choice.
Because she wasn't crazy about the cut, was
No,
she?
I think she didn't like
hated
it.
She
Right.
was like in an interview, it was like, it was awful. Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, I
and
think
then later
she hated
denied
it.
those comments, but maybe she was drunk or on a ton of coke when she said it. Was
Maybe.
Speaking a clear mind.
Everyone's on a ton of coke. Yeah, it's just it's so, and then they reference it on the show too. They reference it on Friends, like she says a line about her mom is gonna get a divorce, and she's like, "Oh, couldn't she have just like copied my haircut or something?"
I do remember that one.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm just like a sucker for any like reference to real life, like in TVs and stuff. Like any self-referential things, I just like eat it up.
Yeah. I feel like they definitely did that when Brad Pitt guest starred when she was
sure.
married to him.
That we just covered that episode on my podcast, and it's like, first of all, you realize that Brad Pitt is not a comedic actor. No. Like, in the slightest.
Although he was kind of good in that the Burn After Reading. He was kind of funny. But he was just fully playing this like an idiot.
Yeah. And
Like
I think
his,
that's what it has to be.
Yeah.
Right.
His true romance kind of character.
Yeah, because he's even kind of funny in, like, Ocean's 11, but, like, he's not like the funny guy.
You could not. He's
like,
definitely not a sitcom guy.
Yeah, he's not delivering
you
jokes.
can't give him jokes.
Right.
And also when he's up against the heavy hitters that were the cast of Friends,
Totally.
it's real hard to like come across as funny.
Totally. And that's what's really interesting rewatching that episode in particular. You're like, oh, you are out of your league.
You're out of your
like,
league. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Brad Pitt. Like, I know you're a movie star, but like, you are out of your league
Which
here.
is very interesting to see because like usually people like that are protected from doing roles like that, you know. But it's like to see this massive movie star go into somewhere where he's not comfortable or the most charismatic person.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
it was so strange to watch. It's such an interesting time capsule. Like,
yeah,
like the whole show is. But
did you ever try to? You did the Rachel. Do you feel like that's the worst haircut you've ever had?
Yeah, it was because like I didn't actually get the Rachel. It was like she cut my hair too short, and then I still was growing out bangs, so it was just like a very weird,
just a layered.
Yeah, it was like a lot of layers like around my face, which I already have a round face, so I just like looked bigger. It wasn't great.
Right. I've never been able to understand what you're supposed to ask for when you go in. Where they're like, so what do you want me to do? I'm like, figure it out. Whatever you think is like not going to make me look like a schmuck, I'm into. Like,
I
don't know what to tell people about my face.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, and and that's usually if you're like, here are the parts of my body I want to accentuate, or like I don't like my ears. If you just tell them, I think they can.
I don't even know that much. I just when I look in the mirror, I get so dazzled by my own beautiful eyelashes. Everything else sort of fades into the distance.
For the past like,
what's the worst hair? Oh, you were about to say something.
No,
you were. Go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say for the past like 8 years, all I tell a hair person to do is like just keep it as long as possible because I've realized that I can't do layers.
Yeah.
I can't do the Rachel, and it's like it just has to be long to keep it like as straight.
The weight of it pulls it out. Yeah, so it doesn't like frizz up or anything like that.
Yeah.
Kerri, what's the worst haircut you've ever had? Do you recall?
I do.
You have fantastic hair right now, by the way. It's
Thank
a
you.
Pink in there.
Yeah, it's some pink, some purple, some silver.
It's fun.
Thanks.
It can be a boring world out there. Why not have a little fun with your hair, for God's sake?
Yeah. Well, when I was a teenager, I used to dye it with Manic Panic from Hot Topic.
Absolutely.
Got into trouble because I was in a production of Alice in Wonderland, and I dyed my hair bright red in the bathroom at school, and somebody actually thought there was a murder in the bathroom because I dyed my hair with red Manic Panic.
Yeah.
And then also our theater arts teacher yelled at me because she was like, "Yeah, Alice in Wonderland, her hair is supposed to be blonde like your hair was, and now your hair's red, and you need a wig." So they got me a wig. But then I was like, "Yay, free wig!"
Yeah.
So because it was like a cool like blonde raver wig.
Yeah,
Awesome. A crime. You got a free wig out of it. Yeah.
But I think the worst haircut, I definitely know the worst haircut I ever had. My best friend, Danielle, who later went on to, shout out to Danielle. Later she got, her cosmetology license. But when we were like 12, 13, I was her guinea pig for all things for, her wanting to try to learn how to shape eyebrows and do haircuts and do highlights. And so I remember one time she was angling the front of my hair. This was the most adventurous I'd ever been with my hair.
Yeah.
And instead of angling it, she basically took a big chunk in the front and sort of cut straight across.
Oh, no.
And so I had one side that was beautifully angled, and then the other side, which was mullet-like, I guess, because she literally cut straight across.
Yeah.
And so I remember thinking, the left side looks so beautiful, but the right side looks so bad. But I couldn't keep the left side because then on the right side she had to fix it, which she ended up cutting it really short. It was terrible.
Oh, no.
But so that was the worst haircut I ever had. It was, I couldn't even describe it. It was just like, just imagine if you gave a toddler scissors and a head.
Oh,
and,
oh, no. How long did it take until it was acceptable again?
I don't remember. I probably tried to like wear it half up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't recall. That was a dark time.
Yikes.
Yeah, hair stress is really affecting to me. Like I get very upset thinking about that. Like it's a lot of anxiety for people to have to deal with, because everyone can just see your hair all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing you can do about it. You can't like cover it constantly. Like you just can't. Oh,
right.
God.
You have to. Yeah, it's just going to sort of be out there.
Yeah.
Not with some dudes. Some dudes are very into their hair and would feel that exact same thing. With me, it was just like mistakes of. It was never like a look I was going for.
Yeah.
It was just a lack of care. So like for like 8 years of my life, like all the way up until like college, probably, I just would buzz it all the way off.
Yeah.
And then let it grow out to a towering Jufro, and then like I was producing wool for a mill. And then I would just let it grow all the way back out, and that was my look. And then there were terrible looks in between, where it was like it wasn't far enough out to curl, so it just looked like awful. Like it looked like it escaped from an institution.
Oh, no.
I like what you've got going on
I
now,
was just
though.
gonna say,
much.
too.
I did take off my hat hoping to get one or two compliments.
Yeah.
did.
You've got this sort of like short on the side,
Yeah.
sort of longer on top. It's like a nice, I don't want to say coif, because coif sounds like a little bougie.
You don't have to put coif on me.
It is. It's got like a nice sort of wave. It's sitting very well right now. It also looks like you're not trying too hard, but it also looks like you didn't just roll out of bed.
Saturday. I'm not gonna put too much effort into it.
Yeah, and I also can't see like the sort of fade, I guess you'd call it. I can't see the line from where it goes from short to the longer up top. It's
fade.
Yeah, it is. It blends very well.
Can I tell you the situation I'm in right now, which was a great situation to be in?
Yes, please.
The guy who cuts, I work for the Late Show with James Corden, and the guy who cuts James Corden's hair is this guy Jason. I forget his last name. But,
Waterfalls.
Jason Waterfalls. So this man Jason Waterfalls, and he didn't stick to his rivers and lakes. He comes to Television City. No, he cuts James's hair every day, and he's the best dude. He like grew up in Long Beach. Just like great, chilled out, like California, like what you think of when you think of a California guy. Just maybe one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, maybe. And he'll just like not even just writers, like it'll be PAs. It's like whenever somebody will be like walking by, and he'll pop out and be like, "You," and like whistle at you and like motion you in.
Wow.
And you're like, "He picked me," and then you go in, and like at this point I can be like, "Hey, can I? I got like
my
I
dream.
got a date or I got a whatever. Will you like cut my hair?" And he'll do it, and so it's this like guy who cuts like Bruno Mars's hair and James Corden's hair.
Wow.
He cut Kevin Durant's hair for like the GQ cover or whatever.
Amazing.
Not GQ, the other Rolling Stone cover. And every now and then he'll just be like, "Hey, come on." He was with Lady Gaga, for her like music video cutting her hair. So he just was like, "Come on in," and then and he does it in 5 minutes. I hope the listeners are into this. He does it like 5 minutes, and
that's incredible.
And he's like talking to you the whole time, and then like 5 minutes later, you walk out with like the best haircut you've ever had.
Oh, I love it!
Wow, it's the best. I don't know how I'm ever going to leave the show. It's so cool.
Yeah, well, you'll have to make sure you get his digits, and then
absolutely.
You know what I mean.
Well, we're buds now, so I don't think it'll be a problem. But just a fun little perk.
Yeah,
amazing.
He's the best dude. Shout out to Jason as well. Great. So you picked that's the end of the first round.
Yes.
You went with the Rachel haircut. Now you also have the first pick of the second round, and you're going back to back.
Yes.
Where will you take us now?
Well, I think now that it's come up, I would be remiss if I did not draft.
To be remiss.
As I said it, I was like, "This is so stupid."
I love it.
If I didn't draft The Simpsons.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think that would be a bad idea if I didn't snag that.
Or snack. I like snack it.
Snack it.
Fucking Shakespeare's not the only dude who can like make. Well, not that it's a new word. Yeah, snack it up.
I believe snack is Elizabethan. It's from
snack it.
Snack it up. Is that what you're just gonna say?
Snack it up. The Simpsons.
I have always watched. It was always a thing that we watched as a family. Like The Simpsons was always
beautiful.
a thing that we did together. To the point where I remember watching I was literally 3, I think, watching the Tracy Ullman show with my parents, and that's when he would do Matt Groening would do little interstitials with The Simpsons family, and that's how the show happened. I remember watching those. I remember seeing those in a very vague, childish way.
When Homer had that nightmare voice.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah, and when they looked crazy.
Yeah, they looked insane. That was the undistilled Matt Groening Life in Hell.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it looks more like. Yeah. But it's always just been. It's just been such a huge part of my life, and it was I just kids would say that they weren't allowed to watch it.
Yeah,
I would go to school.
You weren't allowed to watch it.
No.
See? And it didn't make sense to me because I was I watch it with my parents.
Yeah. Cool
I was so it's there was a big disconnect to me of this was this thing I loved so much, and then I knew so many kids who just weren't allowed to watch it, and I was so confused by that.
I think a lot of people they would be like, "Oh yeah, of course, The Simpsons." I think they don't understand how into it some people are.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where I watched it every single week. I watched 1 or 2 episodes every week now.
Mm-hmm.
I completely me and the people I was best friends with in middle school and high school, I feel like it completely shaped our senses of humor. And we've had to rough out, become our own people since then.
Totally.
But we would communicate Simpsons references.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what was weird for me. I didn't have a lot of friends who watched it. It was strictly something that I watched at home with my brother, with my parents. So in high school, these two nerdy guys in my honors classes, we found out that the 3 of us always watched Simpsons, and that's when it was on Sundays. And so, we would come in Monday morning and talk about the previous night's episode.
Yeah.
And, it was me and these 2 guys, and, we would just recap The Simpsons to each other and, just make the jokes to each other all the time.
The best.
And those were, my first friends I had who weren't into The Simpsons at all. And I was like, this is great.
The Sunday move devastated me because then, that's what my stepdad was always watching Sunday Night Football.
Oh, no.
And it was crazy because I played football. I was had played football all the way since 4th grade.
Yeah.
And, and I enjoyed watching football, but Sunday nights I was like, can we watch The Simpsons? And he was like, no, I'm watching the football game. I was like, no, fine. Jock asshole.
Right.
He was a chef who had never played football, and I could it just made me, I hated football because of it. It was so fucking. Can I tell you another fun perk of the job right now? Is one of our writer's assistants is Tracy Ullman's son.
Oh my God.
So every now and then, Tracy Ullman will just be hanging out.
That's amazing.
We watched one of the first, I think it was it was in the primary still. It was either a Republican or a Democrat debate, I forget what, but we had to stay at work and watch it.
Yeah.
So we could write about it for the show. And Tracy Ullman just loves watching it. So she just came in and she's sitting there. And eventually, like any famous person, eventually you just forget they're famous and they're just this amazing. And she was just she still got it. Still has her fastball.
Oh my God.
So fucking funny. you get like you meet someone, you're like, oh, I get it. Why you're like one of the most treasured comedians of our time.
Wow.
Like, so she was just in there, and she's so funny and so great. Yeah, so that's just another.
That's amazing.
Another amazing perk of the job. And her son's the nicest. You would never know he comes. You know.
Yeah.
Never know he comes from like whatever famous people. Just such a nice, down to earth, really cool guy.
Oh my god.
Shout out to Johnny. Yeah.
Oh, that's my brother's name.
Yeah. Shout out to all Johnnies.
All Johnnies.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that movie that Tracy Ullman did with Kevin Kline and River Phoenix called I Love You to Death?
No.
It's a really great movie. I haven't watched it in a long time. Oh, Keanu Reeves is in it as well.
Oh, buried the lead.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, I did. It's about this woman who Kevin Kline is Tracy Ullman's husband. He's a horrible human being, and so she decides she's going to kill him per advice of her mother, who's like this like small kind of like dictator-like Italian mother, matriarch of the family, and she tries to kill him, and it just isn't working. And it's really funny how, and it's a really funny movie.
Yeah.
But I just thought of it.
What's it called one more
It's
time?
called I Love You to Death.
I'm gonna put it on the queue.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie. There's some other people in it. I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, stellar cast.
That's great.
Amazing.
Oh, man. Did you get into The Simpsons later on, or I've known people who didn't watch it as a kid and just have decided. I'm like, I'm not gonna. I can't. It's too much.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Go on.
This is gonna be this is gonna be controversial because I feel like there are plenty of people. The Simpsons, I've seen episodes.
Yes.
I've seen episodes, but it's never something that I really got into. I don't know why. It's one of those things that almost, like all of my friends, my boyfriend, everybody, they love The Simpsons. They grew up on it. They've been watching it for years, or maybe discovered it a little bit later in life. And it was just one of those things that just didn't click with me, but just didn't, sort of attach itself to me.
You're a bad person
in a
with terrible
barnacle-like
thoughts.
way.
I get it. Yeah.
But I will say, I like episodes that I have seen sort of in passing. I've enjoyed. I remember when Family Guy came out, and I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I've seen every episode of Family Guy, and I watched the episode, the 2-parter that they had of Family Guy with The Simpsons, and I really liked it. And I realize that's like a hot point of contention too. Is like The Simpsons versus Family Guy. But yeah, that's
totally fun.
It's always been on my radar.
There are a lot of people like you out there.
Okay.
Where it just didn't. I think if it didn't hit you in the right way at a certain age,
And maybe I can blame it on my parents who didn't let me watch it along with Married with Children, which I did finally when I got a little bit older, started watching in reruns.
Yeah, that one's yeah.
I watched that
great
as a
show.
kid.
Yeah.
I like to think that I can be like calm, and like I've had to like work near celebrities or whatever. Like I've had to do stuff, but I went to a table read for The Simpsons like 2 years ago.
That's cool.
And I was like, it'll be fine. I'll be cool. Like it'll be okay. And I got there and I literally I had like a full like cold sweat. Like I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And then like Nancy Cartwright started walking like towards me, and I was like with my podcast co-host actually, Jamie, and I was like, why is Nancy Cartwright walking towards us? And then she was like so sweet and was like, do you want me to sign your script? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's amazing.
and I like couldn't, I was just the
Sign
whole
whatever
time
you want. Yeah.
I feel like a full blown panic attack. Like I was like, oh my God, Hank Azaria's on the phone. Like he wasn't even in the room with us, and I was like freaking out. Like we like went up to Matt Groening, and I was like, hi, I've been watching The Simpsons since I was like 3. And he was like, I don't think that's true. And I was like, it's literally true.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, so it's like, it is hard because it's like something that I have such a strong emotional connection to. So it's like, I have no subjectivity towards it, like, or objectivity towards it. Like I can't like can't relate to you not having watched it, Kerri. Like, like, but it's like, I don't have any ill will towards you about it.
Right.
I just like,
thank God.
I'm like, I literally can't like, I'm like, I can't fathom a world where that's not a part of my life because it feels like it's part of me.
And that's how I feel about the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
So, the Golden Girls is my Simpsons.
Yeah.
We all have our thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in Portland at a restaurant called Paley's Place, which is in Northwest Portland. Matt Groening's from Portland.
Mm-hmm, right.
I'm from Portland. And I was sitting there. I was on a date. I was on like a third date with my, at the time, girlfriend. Now very good friend. Shout out to Amanda Armstrong. Where we were sitting there eating, and I see this man walking down the street with like 2 or 3 other people coming towards us. And I'm like, no, I can't, that can't be him. And then in my head, start doing the math. I'm like, he's literally from this neighborhood.
Yeah.
This is a pretty nice restaurant. that could be Matt Groening. And he walks by. We're sitting on the patio, and he comes up the stairs and like walks in the restaurant. I'm like, I'm 95% sure that's Matt Groening. And I was telling Amanda, and she was like, I'll go find out. And she liked The Simpsons, but it wasn't like a religion to her like it was to me. And she walks in and fakes like she's going to the bathroom and just went to his table. Are you Matt Groening? And he was like, yes. And then, great, nice to meet you. And then she came back out and she's like, it's Matt Groening.
Oh my God.
And then I had to sit there. I was like handshaking, like drinking a glass of water, like, oh, cool. Do you think I should go say hi to him? Or, like, was he nice? Was he cool? Was it private? Was it a private moment? And like, she was like, no, you should go talk to him. So I went to the bathroom and like fixed my hair and like dabbed the sweat off my forehead, all that stuff, and then like walked back to his table. And again, like you were saying, I've worked in like late night for the last 3 years, and like so you meet famous people every single day. You see Tom Cruise was in our office, and Shaq, and like Cher, like all these people on just this weekend you meet him, and it's like, oh hi, nice to meet you. And with Matt Groening, I just went up and I was such a chump. I had no idea how. I was like, your shows mean so much. I'm a stand-up comedian. And your show means so much. I don't think I'd be a comedian without you. And he was sitting there with Maggie, his sister Maggie.
Oh my God.
So I got to meet the person Maggie was named after. And we were eating on a restaurant off of Flanders Street.
Oh, wow.
It was the coolest moment. So yeah, Matt Groening and The Simpsons, perfect pick.
That is amazing.
I loved the crossovers too. I liked the Critic crossover. It was a really fun one for me. I loved the Critic too.
I did too.
And
I really liked that.
It was a jelly bean. Amazing pick. You can't go wrong with The Simpsons. And now it's on to me, the second pick of the second round. My second pick. Oh, am I going to stay in that lane? Nope. Okay, this. I'm going to pick something that means so much to me. I don't know if it's a thing that would get picked in this room. I don't know if you guys are sports fans at all. Did you see a little bit?
Not really.
All right, fine. Then
I could name a lot of Red Sox players and basketball players from the 90s, I guess.
I bet you could name a basketball player on the thing I'm about to pick, which is the 1992 Dream Team.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I was like, there are certain sports things from the 90s in particular that I would know.
The 1992 Dream Team, it was the first time the U.S. Olympic basketball team, after not doing it for like 30 years or so, sent professional basketball players to the Olympics.
Right.
And it was Michael Jordan. It was your boy Larry Bird.
Yeah.
He was on that team. Clyde Drexler from the Portland Trailblazers. So I'm not going to name all of them. Barkley. Well, I would name all of them. Charles Barkley was on that team. It was amazing. It was, as a young sports fan, especially, but like I kind of like sports in general, and I'm a huge basketball fan.
Yeah.
So when and they practiced in Portland a lot because Nike's there too. So when that first came together, it was like it blew my mind that like all these people were on the same team. I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And then they went to the Olympics and killed everybody. They beat like I remember they had one game against like Angola or the Cameroon where they beat them by like 80 points. Like it wasn't even fair.
Oh my God.
They were destroying everybody. It was like Michael Jordan at the height of his powers.
Wow.
Magic Johnson was on the team.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like it was this amazing collection of basketball players.
Was this like a little before like the Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues?
Right before
that feels like it was more like 94.
Yeah, that was kind of 94, 95.
Yeah.
When those Charlotte Hornets teams, which are also super 90s.
Right,
Scottie
that's what
Pippen.
I was right,
yeah.
like I was like...
I had a Hornets starter jacket.
I did too!
I always wanted one!
Oh, they were so dope. That was the fucking one. I had a Hornets and a Toronto Raptors one.
Yeah.
I was in Portland. I didn't even have any Blazers stuff.
No, I didn't have any. Yeah, my sister had a Dallas Cowboys one, and I had a Hornets jacket.
The Hornets one was the move.
I wanted one so bad.
It was so rad.
My parents were like, you don't care about sports. And I was like, I don't care. Everyone has these jackets and I want them. And I wanted the pullover one with like the pouch in the front.
Yeah, that's what I had.
Because one of my best friends had it.
Zip up.
Yep.
Zip up.
And then my other best friend had like a zip up one. And I was like, why can't you just buy me this jacket? This is all I want in the world.
Yeah.
I also remember getting, I don't think it was a starter jacket necessarily, but I do remember getting, no, you know what? I had the Hornets zip up and I promise my parents didn't have a lot of money, so I don't know why I had two of these things, but I had a Hornets zip up and I had the Mighty Ducks pullover, but only because I loved the Mighty Ducks, the movies.
Of course. What could be better than those movies? Yeah, it was, I mean, great. I guess great that they started the hockey team after, but those Mighty Ducks, and the color scheme worked both ways. You could wear the Mighty Ducks jersey with that starter jacket.
Oh,
it's a lot of green.
So it was like white and then some green.
I still have a Mighty Ducks long sleeve tee from when the second movie came out. My dad and I went to an
D2?
advanced screening.
D2.
D2.
Knuckle
We
puck.
went to an advanced screening and we won like this hugely oversized long sleeve tee that I have worn to like every Christmas since like
Is it
that
still
year.
like way too big?
Yeah.
What is it, like, like
Yeah,
a
it's-
2XL?
amazing.
It's still
Like a
big. Yeah, it's
2XL?
like a 2XL.
Oh, cool. You know, I happen to wear 2XL. So
It's great. It's very well loved, but
the Hornets gear from the 90s was so clutch.
oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a little bit before that. This was
Okay.
a little bit. Muggsy Bogues was in the league, but I don't think Larry Johnson or Alonzo Mourning were. Alonzo may have actually about to have been. In fact, it was. It was the year before Alonzo Mourning was in the NBA. But there was just nothing like it. And Michael Jordan was at that point was like one of the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
The Olympics were in Barcelona that year, and I remember in Barcelona, Nike had put up this massive mural of Michael Jordan.
Wow.
And there's this amazing picture of like Michael Jordan looking up at this like impossibly huge Michael Jordan billboard, and it's like this amazing picture.
Oh my god.
They were so good that they like. There's amazing story. There's I'm blowing. There's an amazing book about the '92 Dream Team that I think just came out, but they were there and they were so good that they didn't really have to not party at the Olympics. So like they like Charles Barkley. There's like stories about him being in Barcelona like alone. Because like none of it, like he was just wanted to go out, and maybe some of the other players didn't, and he would just walk from bar to bar, followed by all these like people who are like, "You're Charles Barkley, we know who you are," you know, like just going like and yeah, it's like this legendary team story about like how he would just like be hammered the night before.
I
And
mean,
Michael
yeah, they're
Jordan,
probably still drunk when they were playing.
they probably were. They were probably still fun. Michael Jordan, legendary like partier and like gambler. And bad dude, by the way, but like not like a terrible dude, but just sort of a bad dude.
Wait, back up.
Oh, did you not know that?
I don't know that.
Oh, you guys don't know Michael Jordan? Not a bad dude the way that like most people are bad dudes now.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're a monster and I hope you die. But like real quick, the book is called Dream Team by Jack McCallum. Amazing book. Everybody, if you're into basketball or even not, you should check it out. Yeah, Michael Jordan's not a good dude. He's like a legendary asshole. Like who would like punch he punched Steve Kerr, who's one of his teammates, in the face during practice.
Oh
just
my
'cause
God.
He felt like he wasn't trying hard enough. The problem gambler, one of them competitive, would talk shit.
But he's so charming in all of those Hanes
I know.
ads.
He's so
maybe a
cute.
sociopath, but like
Man.
Wow.
I feel like I'm not doing the best job of explaining it. He at his Hall of Fame watch his Hall of Fame speech if you really want to get a feeling for it.
Yeah.
He invited like the player who got cut so he could be on the team in high school, like to his Hall of Fame speech, or the player who made it instead of him making it, something like that, just so we could sort of talk shit to him at his NBA Hall of Fame induction.
So he sounds like a dick.
He's a
Yeah,
dick.
like
Dick.
just
It's
yeah.
a hard, when he was owned the Washington. He was like a part owner of the Washington Wizards, and they drafted this kid out of high school, and Jordan thought he wasn't good enough, so he just like made him cry in practice every day.
Oh my god.
Because it's Michael Jordan, the most legendary basketball player ever, talking shit to you, you know?
Right,
and you're like
right.
an NBA player, like, you're my hero. And then he's like, fuck you, you know?
Do you think that kid's gonna write like a Whiplash like movie about?
That would be amazing. Yeah, Kwame Brown, if you want to write him. He washed out of the league pretty quick. He should have been better. But yeah, I mean, fuck it. He was so fun to watch basketball, and I never had to talk to him, so whatever.
His dad
Yeah.
was murdered.
His
Michael
dad was
Jordan's
murdered.
Dad was murdered. Yeah.
Wow, I
And
didn't know that either.
One conspiracy theory is they think his dad was murdered by people that Michael Jordan owed money from gambling debts,
Interesting.
which is why he had to quit the NBA for 2 years. That he was given a soft suspension, where the NBA was like, we're not going to suspend you in front of everyone and ruin your like endorsements with
Wow.
Hanes and Ballpark and Gatorade and Nike and yada yada yada. But you need to calm this down. You need to go away for a while. And people
Wow.
think that's why he went to go play baseball.
Oh my god.
Total conspiracy theory shit that
Sure,
has never
sure.
been. But it's like a fun thing that like
That's
basketball
interesting.
fans like to discuss with one another.
Wow.
Interesting.
Anyway, the Dream Team's amazing. I still have 2 of their shoes. I have the Dream Team Jordan 7s and the Charles Barkley's Air Forces in like the Dream Team colors. I love them so much.
Do you
The
still
two-
wear them?
I do. Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, they're re-releases, so they're like
Oh, okay.
from like the last couple of years. But
Okay.
I just love the color. They look like America in the 90s, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like such a specific vibe.
It is. It really is. Yeah. It's
know?
like, oh, Yeah, post-Iraq, we didn't know we were the villains yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So that's my second pick. I could not have the Dream Team. Kerri, it is now your turn.
How many do we get total?
5
by the way?
rounds. I can't believe I don't.
No, it's
always
okay.
Forget to tell people
5
that.
rounds. Great.
Yeah.
So I've done 1 so far?
Yes.
One.
Okay.
But you're about to do 2 in a row.
I'm going to do 2 in a row. Can you recap what we have so far
Absolutely.
so I can imagine in my mind categorically?
With, Lisa Left Eye Lopez's Rap and Chasing Waterfalls.
Okay.
And then I went OJ Trial.
Okay.
Then we went Rachel Haircut.
Okay.
The Simpsons.
Okay.
The Dream Team.
All right.
And here we are.
Okay. I think for this round, and what would I be going up against in this round?
Going up against what do you mean now?
So are we in round 2 now?
We're in round 2.
And I'm the first pick.
You're the first pick.
Okay. I'm going to go with, for this one, the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, wait, you're the last pick around.
Yeah, you're the last pick of round 2.
Okay, Blair Witch Project is going up against Simpsons and Dream Team?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's just all.
Whatever.
The grand total of them.
Oh,
yeah, so you
right.
pick whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning when I was like, yeah, I know how fantasy works.
Yeah.
I kept picturing it as brackets. And
you were thinking March Madness.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, no, it's not that. Okay.
My boyfriend's in like 4 fantasy leagues right now. Weekends are stressful for him.
Right, yeah. He's yelling at random football players.
Yeah, well, also it's like
Jacksonville Jaguar.
He'll have like players on like offense on one team, and then he'll have the whole defense on another team.
Yeah.
So he's also very like, he's fighting himself, really.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. Fantasy's weird because you have one quarterback and your opponent has the wide receiver he's throwing to.
Yeah. It's weird, right? Yeah.
But let's talk about your pick.
Okay, so
The Blair Witch Project.
The Blair Witch Project came out, I believe, in 99. 98 or 99. I was
99.
99. Now, if you guys remember,
Correct,
this is in the days before like social media.
Yeah.
The internet was still kind of like, you used it once in a while.
Yeah.
But I remember when the movie came out, hearing that the 3 people in the movie, the teenagers, were actually, that this was all real found footage.
Yeah.
Right.
They were actually missing in real life. I think there was like a website you could go to where it had all the information about them. And when this movie came out, it was so huge. It was like this new thing of being able to go and see like real footage from real missing people.
Yeah.
And I remember me and all the kids in my neighborhood, we always used to pile into Ben Hazen's mom's van and go to the Silver City Galleria Mall in Taunton, Massachusetts, and we'd go see movies. And
Taunton?
In Taunton.
Taunton?
I mean, it's Taunton.
It feels like
so
Tauntaun, like
I know
from
it
Star
does.
Wars. Yeah.
I was trying to say, there are 2 T's, but we would just call it Taunton because that's how you talk in Cabot, Massachusetts.
That's how you talk in upstate New York, too.
Okay, great.
You swallow your double T's.
Yeah.
Great.
Toronto. Nobody in Toronto pronounces the second T. Yeah.
What do they say?
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's that sort of soft D.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I remember a bunch of us in the neighborhood, we went and saw it, and I felt so bad. Our friend's mom, my friend Danielle, who gave me the bad haircut, her mom bought us tickets for another movie, or tried to buy us tickets for the Blair Witch, and they were like, well, you have to go in with them, because I think we were all like under 18 or whatever. Right. And so their poor mom had to see the Blair Witch Project with us, and was terrifying. And I remember, I feel like it was a few months after the movie came out that finally the actors were able to do press and kind of reveal.
They kept them all like hidden away.
They kept them all hidden away.
Yeah.
The way that The Bachelor and his final rose pick aren't allowed to see each other and have to live quietly. So we saw it before, right when it came out, and seeing it, I've rewatched it recently, but seeing it through the lens as a teenager, watching these teenagers who you think are actually going missing, was something that gave me nightmares and stuck with me for a year afterwards. The final shot in the movie, spoiler alert, where the dude Mike is standing in the corner.
Yeah. Oh, so scary.
Gave me nightmares for so long. But what a brilliant way to make a movie, because I think that movie, it was only recently surpassed by Paranormal Activity in terms of a movie that's grossed, exponentially more that was on its budget. So it was just, for me, it was...
And you never saw The Witch?
No.
Yeah.
No. It would have been what would have made Signs a good movie had you never seen the movie.
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm going to say Blair Witch and also it was like a woman leading the two men who were idiots, and I just felt so bad. And Heather had to deal with those two numbnuts the whole time.
You're on a first day, Heather. I would never have been able to
Heather,
pull that
Josh, and
name.
Mike.
Yeah.
I have not rewatched it since 1999.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's on Netflix.
Oh, I
Yeah.
kind of want to watch it.
It's kind of the month for it.
Yeah.
Or it kind of was the month for it
Yeah.
when we recorded this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like my parents actually took me to like an 11 p.m. screening of Blair Witch. So I was 14.
Your parents sounded cool earlier. Now parents sound like they're reckless.
Because my parents were like young. Like they had me when they were like 23.
Yeah.
So like they're always just like, yeah, watch whatever you want. I don't know. Yeah, we're watching Sling Blade. You want to watch it? And I'm
Right.
like, sure, I'm 10. And then I was like, oh God, like what's happening? But my little brother was with my grandparents. And we were going camping the next morning.
No fucking way.
No lie. We were going camping the next morning. My little brother, he's 5 years younger. He was safe with my grandparents. My parents were like, we want to see Blair Witch, but you're not staying home alone. Come on. And I was like, oh, I feel like this is going to be scary. And they're like, it's fine. And like, we go and watch it. I was terrified the whole time.
Yeah.
Just like sweating, just like so scared. And we like go out like hiking and we, by the way, did like real camping. Like we like quote unquote real camping. We went like hiking 4 miles into like our campsite, like backpacking and stuff. And so I'm like, the little like repressed theater kid that I am now. And I like had our like little video camera and I like just was like, okay, well, I'm going to deal with my fear in the daytime by shooting like a parody Blair Witch Project this whole time.
Yeah.
So I like turned the camera on myself and was like crying into the camera and stuff, which was all fun and games until it was nighttime. And then my dad started like making those little twig things and leaving that. Like I went away to pee and I came back and I was like, what is that?
Oh no.
And then like figured out that my dad did it. And then we like made my brother go stand in the corner of this like lean-to that we were staying in to film that. Like somewhere there is footage of this like Blair Witch parody that I did.
That's amazing. I love that your parents were like, they took you to see a scary movie, and that wasn't enough. Your dad's like, "No, I'm gonna fuck with her," and she's going to the bathroom. Like the fact that,
and it was fun and games. Like it was like I think I was really scared, but I ultimately like felt safe. But it was still like it was like a lot for me to take. Like I think now I would react to it a lot more poorly. Like now I think I would be like screaming,
sure,
and like really freaked out. But I think you have a little bit of like a. Oh, it's okay. I can like handle this. Like when you're like a teen.
And you also had that like I'm here with my parents.
Yeah,
the people who are protect me, and now we don't have those people.
Right.
We're alone adults drifting in the world.
Yeah, everyth's a lot scarier as an adult because then you start knowing that you can die.
Yeah. Oh, people my age die all the time.
Yeah, like oh no.
Yeah.
The Blair Witch Project. That good pick. That is a good pick. And 99.
Mm-hmm.
Right in under the cusp. Yeah. Scary. I get too scared when I see scary movies. So I have to like be very careful about the circumstances I see them under. Like if I watch one home alone, even if I'm not stoned, which only makes it way worse, I start every noise I hear outside, I'm like, they're here to kill me.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that you're watching it alone to begin with is a bad decision.
It's a terrible decision. Yeah. But it's kind of weird to call up your, like, maybe it's not that weird. Maybe I'm just trapped in the stigma of masculinity. To like call up your dude friends and be like, what's up, man? You want to come over and watch like It Follows? Yeah, dude, just you and me. I got some kettle corn. Like, but nah, I guess we could be scared together. I would snuggle the fuck out of one of my friends. If we just watched a scary movie.
Yeah, my old roommate, my last roommate, when I lived in New York, we would. She was a horror movie nut, and we would just rent every horror movie and. Watch them together, and we would like sort of like clutch each other on the couch.
Yeah.
And I'm always torn because I love horror movies. I love but I don't like the. It's like a weird love-hate relationship with the anxiety that I feel.
Yes.
Like a good horror movie, like the slow burn of The Shining, like that I'm fine sitting through. But the ones that do, and I'm not going to say cheap because it's not cheap, but. Those quick music stings with somebody jumping out from around a corner, those are the ones that like give, like I feel tense. My whole body is tense the whole time.
Absolutely.
And that's what those Paranormal Activity movies did. I remember seeing the first one
I never saw
front
those.
row in the movie theater the night it came out. And every time you just go back to like that, they sort of reset you're in the bedroom, the night camera's on, and like a minute would go by when nothing would happen, just sort of building up the tension. I just remember that movie. I was so terrified.
Yeah.
And it was loud. That's the thing about the theater, too. Those movies are loud.
They are loud, yeah.
I can't
and it goes from silent to the loudest thing you've ever heard so quick.
Yeah.
Another thing I appreciate about the Blair Witch, and even like M. Night Shyamalan's movies and stuff like that, is that they're scary in a different way. I hate what's happening in horror now, and it's happening less so now, but kind of like the Eli Roth, skin getting carved off of a body that you have to watch, and like torture porn and stuff like that. I forget what it was, like a remake of. I don't even remember what movie it was, but someone was in a bathtub shaving the skin off their legs.
Yes, that was Fever. Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever.
Oh,
I very specifically remember that.
I got up and left. I was like, nope, I can't, and there's gonna be more.
Oh,
so I just like stood up and I was like, and Cabin Fever was kind of funny up top. It was like funny moments in that movie. Mm-hmm. But
who's in that movie, by the way? Was 90s teen heartthrob Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World.
What?
Ryder Strong.
Wow, I love Ryder Strong.
What a good name too.
Yeah.
I had to leave. I couldn't.
Yeah, I can't watch that.
Specifically remember that.
I've never seen any of the Saw movies. Like I know I can't handle it. Like I just don't want to do that.
I don't want to see someone's head get like cantalouped in half. I don't want to see it.
I don't either.
But good for you if you do. And thank you for listening to the podcast. So that's the final pick of the second round. Kerri, you also have the first pick of the third round. Where are we going?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I've got so many. I'm trying to like.
You can take a second to review your notes.
No,
you want me to sing a pleasant song while you?
I think I'm gonna go with this one. Oh boy, it's okay. I've got a couple more. I've only picked two so far, right?
You have picked two so far.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Snick Saturday night on Nickelodeon.
Woo-hoo!
Specifically, the first shows that were on Snick, which were Clarissa Explains It All, Roundhouse, Ren and Stimpy, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I'm here for Roundhouse.
I don't know if I remember Roundhouse.
Oh God, I talk about Roundhouse constantly.
I do too.
No one remembers it. It's like my favorite show in the world.
I loved Roundhouse. I actually you can watch episodes on YouTube. They, Nickelodeon released Snick tapes. They were bright orange VHS tapes, and they would just have one episode of each. They would have a round of Snick on it. And I remember I got two of them, and it was, I think, the only two that they ever made. But I would rewatch those all the time.
Oh
Roundhouse, I loved Roundhouse so much.
What was Roundhouse?
It was like a musical. It was almost like SNL,
like sketch,
but
yeah.
It was
Oh,
sketch
like
and
all that
music and
precursor?
dancing.
Yeah.
All
It was-
that precursor.
Yeah, exactly.
But the stage, it was an in the round theater like stage where the audience would sit all around. It was circular, and the actors / singers / dancers, a lot of whom weirdly are in the movie Newsies. If you've ever,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
there were like
interesting. Not know that.
3 or 4 of the boys that were in Newsies. They would all of the sets moved. They were on wheels, so it sort of felt it was like a theatrical production. And it was. They would do. I mean, they had characters, like certain characters that they would do, like the dad in his chair, like his mechanized chair that moved around.
Oh, yeah.
And they would do topical stuff, like really really short, sometimes blackout sketches, like 3-second sketches.
Yes.
It was really good. Just like they were great. I mean, I feel like a lot of them were kind of. They felt like a lot of theater kids. They weren't necessarily hilarious, but they were all good singers and dancers.
Right, they were captivating. Yeah.
It's like who I knew I would become. Like it's who I knew I would be friends with in high school. Was like that cast.
And there was something cool about it, in so much as like the theme song of Roundhouse and the way it was shot felt very like the real world. It sort of had this
and like Rent kind of.
Yeah, yes. It was
sounds a little bit like the missing link between all that and like the Mickey Mouse Club before, kind of almost like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, it was a little bit more teenage. It was like if you took the Mickey Mouse Club and combined it with The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which I think we can all agree is Pete and Pete is like alternative, like cool early 90s alternative rock as a TV show.
Yes.
It was
absolutely
single cam. Nothing was like, it was weird, but it wasn't like campy weird.
Yeah.
And like Janine Garofalo was on it, Steve Buscemi, Iggy Pop, like Patty Hearst. They had the most amazing guest stars. They shot it in New Jersey.
Yep.
It was just, a child had a tattoo on his arm of a woman.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And Mom had a plate in her
Was
head.
Pete and Pete on Snick as well? This is part of your pick?
No, they weren't. Okay, I don't know if they were on Snick later. I don't think they were, but the original Snick was Clarissa Roundhouse, Ren and Stimpy, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Clarissa was very important to my life.
Clarissa was so good. I love Clarissa.
It was just my favorite thing. I then had a college professor, Molly from English, one of my writing teachers, she wrote on Clarissa. And
cool.
I found that out and I was like, oh, you're my best friend. Like, I'm in love with you now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you and I both tweeted at the creator of Clarissa. Yeah. He's on Twitter. He's very excited to talk about it.
I think he still follows me. I follow him for sure. Yeah,
he's great. I went to a probably the most amazing night of my entire life was when I went to there's this book called Slimed, and it's an oral history of Nickelodeon in the golden years, which is the 90s.
Yeah.
And they had a book release party in New York. And I went to cover it. I had a web series at the time, Geeking Out, where I would like nerd out on a bunch of people from the 90s usually as a super fan. And I went dressed as Clarissa. And my best friend Dave came and he was dressed as Sam and he just brought a ladder with him.
Oh, that's great.
And we went to this event and it was a 90s Nickelodeon kid's dream because I got to hang out in the green room the whole time. It was hosted by Mark Summers. And there were people from every TV show that you can imagine. So, like, Mike Morona from Pete and Pete was there. Gary, who was one of the original cast members, he played Ross on Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh my God.
He was like, we had no idea that the show was so popular. It was shot in Canada. He's a meteorologist now.
Wow.
And one of the most 90s things I've ever seen was the real band that was played the beats in the show Doug.
Yes.
They were playing Killer Tofu on stage. And watching it on a monitor and singing along to every single line was Omar Gooding Jr. from Wild and Crazy Kids in a suit.
That's amazing.
God.
And it was amazing. And I was like, oh my God. And then I turned around and Billy West was there, who was the voice of Ren, the voice of Stimpy, the voice of Doug. He was there with...
He was Doug?
He was also Doug Funny. He was there. Also, Connie Shulman, who played Patty Mayonnaise from Orange is the New Black. She was there too. It was bonkers. But Billy West and Bob Camp were there, and he was one of the, I believe, writers or director of Ren and Stimpy, and I got them to sing the Canadian Kilted Yaxman anthem from Ren and Stimpy. I had the lyrics printed out, and we all sang it. And I got in Ferguson from Clarissa was there, Jason Zimbler, and the guy who played Sam, Sean Neal was there.
Oh my God.
And I it was... I just did, but I can't even.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
You just walk out of that room feeling drunk.
I did.
Yeah.
I was so drunk there's a video, if you just Google like geeking out Nickelodeon 90s, I'm sure it'll come up. But it was, I've never just felt like I was in a more magical place in my entire life than in the green room.
That's kind of cool. And no shade by this, but because a lot of those actors and stuff where it was like you said, we just went on to have normal lives after that because of the circumstances surrounding us. So, it's not like these people in this room are going to be too Hollywood to, talk to you.
Oh, no.
Like yeah.
And I'm sorry, we'll move on after this, I promise. I realize this is my sweet spot, so
this
for
is
the
whole
Simpsons
reason we do
for
this
you.
podcast, please. Yeah.
And now we're buddies, the Pete and Pete brothers, but when I was...
You're buddies?
We're buddies,
That's
fucking
cool.
I forced myself into a lot of friendships. No, they're wonderful. And they're friends in real life. They have a podcast called The Adventures of Danny and Mike, where they take fun road trips with comedians and friends, and they're so lovely, and their podcast is really great. But years earlier, when I first moved to New York, right out of school, I was a PA on the Michel Gondry movie, Be Kind, Rewind. And
Great
this
movie.
was probably,
Really fun movie,
this was probably 2006. And this is before smartphones. And I remember I was walking by the electricians, and they're all with their gear and everything. And I look over and I'm like, wait, that guy kind of looks like Big Pete from Pete and Pete. But I didn't know. So I texted my friend Liz, and I remember being like, Liz, get on your computer, get on the internet, and look up his name. Tell me what his name is. She texts me back, it's Mike Morona. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm walking with one of the other PAs and talking to him, and I was like, so anyway, and then I said to my friend Mike, and then I looked, and his head kind of turned, and I was like, oh my God, it's him. But then I never had the guts to talk to him.
Oh my God.
And then years later, I was like, hey, when I did finally meet him, I was like, were you an electrician on Be Kind, Rewind? It shot in Passaic, New Jersey? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I saw you. But yeah, so
Amazing pick. So Clarissa explains it all. Roundhouse. What were the other two?
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
And Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark was really scary.
Oh, it could get scary.
It really could get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would really terrify me. And my brother was younger than I, and like the opening credits, like he would instantly leave the room.
It was too
like,
much.
He would like see that like rowboat like rocking.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, I'm out of here.
The
Yeah.
swing
Just
set.
run away.
It's this like ethereal, like it's like it's almost it's so crazy. It's almost like a David Lynch kind of in terms of like layered music, atmospheric.
Yes.
It's like this ooh, and then you hear like little kids giggling like way off in the background, and it's a really good opening theme song.
I love kid scary stuff. I love that was like, and I don't want to I'm afraid to even mention the other two just in case someone wants to pick it. But like, does anyone have
Just
any
do
like
it.
other kid scary stuff like in their pocket that they want to talk about or draft?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I have some on my list, but I don't know that I don't think I'll play them.
Why don't we just talk about them?
Okay.
Fucking Goosebumps and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I almost brought those with me. I forgot to bring them. I still have those
You
books.
still have them?
Yes, I still have them.
I have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark still, but I don't have any more of my Goosebumps.
I've got a couple
that shit.
Goosebumps.
I loved it.
So great.
Goosebumps
so
were
great.
amazing. R.L. Stein's another guy who's on Twitter and is like kind of fun.
he's great.
Yeah, he's really fun.
What Goosebumps is to the Scary Stories books.
Yeah.
Are You Afraid of the Dark is to Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yeah.
Which was like 11 p.m., like Saturday night, like more objectively scarier than I think Are You Afraid of the Dark. Tales from the Crypt used to scare the shit out of me.
Also scary. It was definitely more grown up. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch it that frequently.
Yeah.
Like I've only seen it a couple times because it freaked me out too much.
The drawings in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Don't
were
get me
the
started.
Even today, you look at them and you just like feel a little uneasy. You lock your bedroom door that night, you know?
And that was fun. Like Goosebumps, no pictures, you know.
Yeah, they were goofy. They were.
I mean, Night of the Living Dummy, like, okay, maybe a little scary on the front.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Scary Stories books, I still remember there was one, I think it was called like The Haunting or something, but it was a skeletal woman with long, stringy hair and hollowed out eyes.
Yes.
No eyes. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that one.
That one's like I couldn't. Sometimes I would flip through the books, and like when I was a kid, those were like my bathroom books, which is like terrible. I would literally go into the bathroom, and I'm like, maybe I'll literally like scare the shit out of me. But like that one and the one where the spiders in the cheek that explode. Yeah, those. Oh God, those illustrations. Because I literally put Scary Stories books. It was my number one because I was going to bring them with me, and then I forgot them.
Well, we'll put that. You can if you we let people pick who they think won on Twitter polls. It's also stupid. I never even look at them when. Spoiler: I never even look at them when you guys vote and pick the guests and not me. No, I do look, but it couldn't matter less. But if you're listening when you vote, think of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark when you think of Kerri's collection. Yeah. She just forgot to bring them. But those books were so fucking scary. Yeah. If you were like kind of a fun goth, those would be great tattoos to get, though.
Oh,
yeah. Scary Story illustrations, right?
Yeah.
If you were kind of a fun spooky kid.
I really like the idea of a fun goth. Like, I like that as I know exactly who that is, what I mean,
and
right?
I like
it.
Yeah. Like fun. They really like scary movies. They're one of those fun goth, but they dress like in all black. But they're one of the most chipper people you know. Yeah. Excellent. So Snick, can't go wrong with Snick.
God.
I mean, Ren and Stimpy. We spent so much time talking about Ren and Stimpy.
It's so great.
Ren and Stimpy is so good still. It's so good.
Yeah.
And that was another show where, you know, sometimes I would watch it and I'd go, oh, I feel ill. Like, you remember when they would do those very stylized...
Those close-ups?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be like, you know, Ren had boils on his body or something. And, yeah, I loved it.
When it's like the nerve endings in the teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Like that part always. I'm constantly thinking about that at the dentist. Just all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel, God, they were so graphic. They were like graphic. And I feel like so many like the quote unquote cool cartoons now, they are like a direct line to Ren and Stimpy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even more so almost than The Simpsons a little bit. Like they owe a lot more to Ren and Stimpy, like stuff, you know, like even like Adventure Time and stuff like that, where they do that like bizarre. They'll do like bizarre.
Yeah. Ren and Stimpy was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great pick, man. Snick.
Cool.
Snick is awesome.
All right, so it is my turn for my third pick, the second pick of the third round. And I'm going to stay in the land of television for this one, and I have to take it because I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't. I'm taking Seinfeld.
Oh, good.
Which is, I know you Golden Girls friends. For me, that show would be Seinfeld.
Yeah.
To me, it is the perfect show. The perfect, like every episode. Now that like as a kid, I loved it, and even as like I've literally never. It's like The Simpsons. I've never stopped watching it.
Yeah.
From when it was on, like first, must see TV episodes all the way through. It's still been when you're in Hollywood, and you have to go into a meeting. Like a general at like a network, and they're like, "So what are you watching? Like, what are you into now? What are you watching?" And they're really like trying to figure out if any of their shows are like what like creatives are watching. But like, I always have to lie because the only real answers I could give are just like mostly still just Seinfeld. It's real. Like I'll go home and just like watch that again. And now that I write television, I write late night, but like you try to write sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah.
You've written sitcoms,
and
like. I have such a greater level of appreciation for it having tried to write a show. The way that those episodes would have the A and the B storylines, and even the C storylines sometimes, that would all intertwine and connect. Like,
no one can dovetail like a Seinfeld episode.
None of them. Like Larry David could write the fuck out of those episodes, and like they all sort of wrap up at the end. Mm-hmm. These three divergent storylines come together.
Totally.
When you think back to like some of the like iconic moments in Seinfeld, and you'll forget that like two of them will be from the same episode.
Yeah.
I can't, none of them are in my head right now. I don't have any examples, but like, that's like a for sure, like Man Hands will be the same episode as like, some other icon, like Stoop Nazi. That's not true, but like,
something like that.
If I was going to say, without that not true, someone's going to write you an angry note.
That part's fully not true, but like, they would be like that big of moments, and there'd be just two storylines from the same episode. I love Larry David. He's still like Curb is still like one of my other 5 favorite shows.
Oh yeah,
shows.
Coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah, 9th season. And Seinfeld is just fucking. It's the perfect television show. I just love it so much. The stakes are never high. Nothing like nothing really matters in it. It's just so fun. It's a show about a comedian that never touches on that. It's just sometimes it'll use it as like a plot device, but it's like as a stand-up, they'll always tell you to like pitch a show about what you know, and you're like, I can't do a show about a stand-up because like Seinfeld did it, and then Louis kind of did it, but Steinfeld really, I think I just said Steinfeld. Seinfeld really, really fucking nailed it. That's my favorite.
And like
show.
everyone has
Simpsons.
Everyone has a friend who is like an unsuccessful stand-up who's like, I wrote a pilot. And then you read it and you're like, oh.
yeah.
Cool. Great job.
Write another one, though. Maybe get a couple out of
Good
your
start.
system.
Good start. Because it's always just like, oh, well, I must be as interesting as this. And it's like, you can't just take Seinfeld and just like apply it to yourself. Like, you can't do that.
You have like the best stand-up comedian pairing up with one of the best writers.
Yeah.
And they made a thing together. Yeah,
And I will say, like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like,
oh my god,
my favorite person in the world.
She's...
Like, I have such love for her, and I don't know Seinfeld that well. I've seen a ton of episodes. I've maybe even seen every episode, but I don't know it quickly. But like,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
if you watch
I'm in the same
it,
boat.
like you're just like, this is great. Like, it's just great TV. Like, it's just easy and great. And she is a fucking treasure.
She's amazing.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she's just the fucking best.
She's the best.
From SNL.
Yep.
I was talking about this with a buddy the other day. Like she's one of the only people who's really been able to break the curse of the sitcom, of the 90s sitcom. Where all these other people with the networks are like, you loved Friends, right? Well, how about Matt LeBlanc doing this other thing? And you're like, no, I can just go back and watch Friends.
I will. I agree with you, Ian, to a point.
Yeah.
But episodes is great. But also, like, let's not forget that Lisa Kudrow did the comeback.
Totally. Lisa Kudrow.
Valerie Cherish, Lisa Kudrow as Valerie Cherish in the comeback. Like, when I look at my two most favorite comedic actors in comedic roles that required a lot of improv, like it will always be Lisa Kudrow as Valerie Cherish and Steve Carell as Michael Scott.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I can't even begin. Like, it's
incredible.
So different from Phoebe Buffay.
Totally.
It is. Valerie Cherish could not be more different. And also, I think, like Michael Scott, Valerie Cherish is a character who's manages to really balance unlikability with likability in so much as like they're not really great people, either one of those characters, but there's enough that's redeemable about them for you to watch and not hate watch and just hate them the whole time, which I think is a really hard thing to achieve in writing and in acting.
Totally. And I think that's what Seinfeld and Curb benefit from so much, like that likability, unlikability, like dichotomy or whatever, you know, like, because like I didn't watch Curb for a long time because anytime I watched an episode, I agree with Larry David so intensely. And I knew that wasn't like right. Like that wasn't like necessarily like the right reaction. Like, oh, he's not great and sometimes he's crazy. But I was like, he's right. Like,
he's 100% right.
Like,
well,
all
he is.
the
He's
time.
the things that the social mores prevent us from doing.
Yeah.
Like the samples at the ice cream shop place where he's like, what are you doing? Like, get one sample. Yeah. He's 100% right. These people, they abuse the system, and then it's going to get taken away. He's so good. And I have to admit, and I need to correct this, I haven't seen The Comeback. But my friend Sean O'Connor, shout out Sean O'Connor, who is used to be a writer on The Late Late Show, and now is elsewhere. But it's like one of his 2 or 3 favorite shows.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's really great.
I need to check that out. So, yes, but I went with Seinfeld with my third pick, Erin Mallory Long. It is your turn. I can't help but say your entire name every time I say it.
I appreciate it.
It's time for the brand is strong.
Yeah.
It's time for your third pick, the final pick of the third round.
Okay. I am going to go with Neve Campbell.
Ooh.
Neve Campbell in general. She has Party of Five in the 90s. She has Scream, The Craft. Like, she was eternally like linked to my adolescence. Like she also was like she has a very she has a specific kind of acting style / like speech pattern where she sometimes pauses like in the middle of a sentence.
Yes.
And I would try to mimic that just all the time.
Do you still have it in you? Can you give us
I can't give
us your best attempt at a Neve Campbell.
I really can't because like it's like I see it when it happens. It's just always like well, I mean, no, like she just always like, it's always like, and she does this weird, I just watched Craft the other night too, and I was talking about this, but she does like a weird, like, kind of like almost robotic, like body movement.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know? And like, that's kind of how she acts. So like her speech pattern is like linked to this like kind of robot, like arm movement that she's doing.
It is. Animatronic Neve Campbell.
Yeah, but I love it.
And what you're doing, you know, because obviously podcasts aren't a visual medium, but what you're doing is you're sort of like, you're shifting your shoulders where you're putting like one shoulder forward and then one shoulder back. And it's hard to describe, but I do know exactly what you're talking about.
It is the only impression that I've ever tried to perfect. Like, and I haven't done it in years. Otherwise, I would attempt. But it's like it's the only thing that I've like studied her and watched her, and I just love her. I love all of those things. Like I love Party of Five. I love The Craft. I love Scream. I love every Scream movie.
Yeah, the Scream movies are amazing.
The Scream TV show, by the way, is really great too.
Oh, is it
I've
good?
like caught a couple episodes.
I watched all of it like in a row this summer, and I really enjoyed it. It's not the same as the movies. It's not the same tonally or anything like that. But
that's different than Scream Queens
really great
too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The great thing about Scream, and now I'm remembering, I realized it wasn't when I saw the Blair Witch Project that Danielle's mom had to take us, because I think I was 17 then. It was actually Scream that she had to take us to. And I remember what was so great about Scream was Drew Barrymore was she was the biggest face on the poster.
Yeah.
And she was also the biggest name in the movie. Like Drew Barrymore then, when did this come out? Like 96? 96.
Right,
Drew
in the
Barrymore,
sweet spot.
huge star at this point.
Yeah.
And again, spoiler alert, but come on, it's been enough time. It's been 20 years. Drew Barrymore, for her to get killed in essentially the cold open of the movie was like unheard of. And I think what Kevin Williamson did with that movie is he completely like sort of created this new genre of like the teen horror movie.
Yeah.
And like, and Neve Campbell in all of those movies, she sort of reminds me, you know how in Ghost, Demi Moore is like always kind of like dewy-eyed, like she could always cry at any second.
Yeah.
Neve Campbell is like that for me in every Screen movie where I'm like, she is literally a syllable away from
always
crying.
Wearing
right
a tank
now.
top about to cry.
Little misty-eyed. But that movie, oh God, Scream. And I remember Matthew Lillard, like, I think that was the first movie I'd ever seen him in.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, and like Live Her Alone. Just the acting
Leave Her
choices
Alone.
that Matthew Lillard made in that movie.
Also Rose McGowan in that movie. It's just so great.
Oh God, I loved her. And it was so weird because that was also my introduction to Rose McGowan. And so I was like, oh, she's a blonde. And then
Totally.
the Anna Faris thing where she was in Scary Movie. And I was like, oh, brunette. No. Nope. Now you're blonde forever because that's your natural hair color.
Neve Campbell also in Wild Things, which is a very 90s ass movie.
Oh yeah,
very sensual movie.
That was the first. That was the first movie where, as a girl, you could like pause and see a penis. Like that was the first thing that we did. Like we weren't watching porn when we were like 12, but we did rent Wild Things and like paused it to like.
They let you see the penis too.
You know,
it was such a rare event.
It's very rare. It's
still
very rare.
a little rare.
It's still very rare.
Let the dudes hang some dick. You know what I mean? I'm sure they want to do it.
Even on HBO, you don't even get any. You know, it's very disappointing.
Who's that German actor with the great dick? Who's in the
Peter Sarsgaard?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Great, what's his name?
Fassbender.
Oh, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
God, of course. I was like, you saw his penis?
Yeah. Great dick. Put Fassbender in some things. Let him hang that dick out there.
I know.
It's fun for everybody.
Just like free the penis.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't get it.
I don't understand why they don't do. Yeah, you see boobs and everything.
Yeah. Constantly.
The movie just the TV show Entourage was just boobs with like a loose plot built around it. That was it. It was just a boob showcase with like, this is one Hollywood story. Put more dicks on your fucking shows, HBO.
For real.
Dicks are real. All right, I'm sorry. That's my one little tangent in the middle of your Neve Campbell draft pick. So Neve Campbell, really, what's she up to right now? Do we know?
I mean, she was in Scream 4.
When I moved here and I lived in Culver City, I was walking to work one day and I was like walking up to a light, which I was going to cross the street. And I remember walking up. And there was nobody on the street. It was early. It was like 8 a.m. And that's not early, I guess, but it was 8 a.m.
Early.
And I see this woman sort of in like a sundress with like just a very light iridescent like scarf waiting at the light. And I'm getting closer. And I'm like, that's Neve Campbell. And it was. And I got to the light and just stood there and like soaked her in without looking at her because we're the only two people on the corner.
Yeah.
And then
just took in her everything.
I took in her everything. And then we both crossed when, the little man on the sign said cross. And then I went one way, she went the other. And it was like seeing a Pegasus.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she looked amazing. I mean, it was just
That's
like years
amazing.
ago. She was gorgeous.
Tell you what she's up to. House of Cards.
Oh.
She's in House of Cards, it looks like. She's been in 13 episodes of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got to catch up on House of Cards.
Good for Neve, yeah.
I'm like 2 seasons back, so.
Enter the Neve. I think we're on season 4, it looks like.
Wow.
Guys, she was also on an episode of Kids in the Hall. She was in a
she's
sketch.
Canadian,
right?
Yes.
The cool one here. You have cool comedy
She
taste.
was she was in one sketch where it took place in like a restaurant or something. I
used to always watch Kids in the Hall like after school.
Yep, from 2 to 3 on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
I have like 7 VHS tapes with just episodes taped, and then the DVDs came out, and I bought those. I skipped like finals. I think my junior year of high school, I left one of them early and like failed a class so I could see them play at the Orpheum Theater in Boston.
Ah, you're a real one. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Kids in the Hall. I love Kids in the Hall.
Still love it.
Yeah, still love it.
You get to do, as a stand-up every now and then, you'll get to do shows with them, just like random dudes, and you're just like, oh, it's Kevin McDonald.
That's so crazy.
On a show with him, and they could not be nicer.
That's so good to hear.
They could not be nicer people. He signed my poster, and then
Kevin McDonald did?
Yeah, and then he was like, will you sign my poster? I'm like, you don't have to do this.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. I'm not going to steal your Meltdown poster, but thank you so much for signing mine. Neve Campbell, great pick. And you also have the first pick of the 4th round.
Okay, I just had one that I decided I was going to do, and now I'm going to vamp for 1 second while I remember what that was.
Vamp it up.
I can't quite remember. What did I say I was going to do? I have absolutely no idea. But let's do... Oh, I don't know if this is allowed, but I think about this a lot.
Okay.
in relation to the 90s. It actually came up at work recently. I would like to propose me drafting the kind of 60s resurgence that existed in the 90s.
Oh, I'll 100% allow that.
Like peace signs, daisies, I personally had a lava lamp always.
Yeah, they were back in a big way.
Beaded curtains, anything that they sold at Spencer's Gifts, I had in my bedroom.
That 70s show?
Yep. Yeah. Incense. Also, the whole movie, Now and Then, really, added to that because I was like, these songs are great. What are these from? Oh, it's kind of like a 60s thing. Cool.
I try to tell people how much the movie, and I hope that you don't feel like I'm profiling you, how much the movie Now and Then means to women who are our age.
Yeah.
People don't get, dudes especially, don't get what a huge movie that was for people.
It's a coming-of-age movie about girls. It's Stand By Me without the dead body.
Yeah, right.
Oh, absolutely. It's the only option we had of that kind of
I love that movie too, by the way.
coming
It's
of age.
just a good-ass movie.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's great. I loved Gabby Hoffman so much.
Yes.
I wanted to be her in that movie.
Oh, I was Thora Birch. I was teeny. Yeah.
I was not a teeny. I was always jealous of my friends who were teeny. But I wasn't quite Christina Ricci's character. I wasn't a tomboy, but so that's why Gabby Hoffman was that was me.
Yeah, she was a little bit more I'm, if I go to a psychic, I'm going to believe every single word he or she says.
Yes.
In 7th grade, me and 3 of my girlfriends saw that in the movie theater, and we came out of the movie and we were all just gabbing about it and talking about who we were and this and that. And I think a woman overheard us talking about it. And I really think she did this just to be sweet. But she came over and she was like, did you girls happen to see the movie Now and Then? And we're like, oh, we did. We just got out of it. And she was like, you just remind me of the 4 girls. And we were like, oh my God. And I was like, it's my birthday today. We saw the movie. But I think because we were talking, we were loudly, excitedly talking about this movie. But I still remember it, and it made my day.
That's so great. What a wonderful lady. Just had to put a little crown on top of y'all's day. Yeah, that's really nice.
That's so sweet.
And then when I lived in Georgia, I went to school in Savannah, and I worked at this honky tonk restaurant, and there was this dude from Georgia named Jameson who was awesome. And we were talking about movies one day, and we happened to bring up Now and Then. He's like, oh, I was in that movie. And I was like, what? Because they shot the movie in Georgia.
Yeah.
He was the kid on the fence who tells Christina Ricci girls can't play baseball, and he punches her out.
Oh,
and I was like, oh my God, you're like a celebrity. And we were both servers at this shitty Outback Steakhouse restaurant in Georgia. Yeah, shout out to Jameson, who played the kid that Christina Ricci kicked the shit out of.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
That is incredible.
But I wonder if I'm not quite sure if the 60s resurgence thing, bell bottoms too, which I guess is 70s-ish. All that stuff, happened again to us in the 90s, but then also, folded in with, literal just stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
And so it just
Jinkos with flowers on it.
Yeah, so it just created this weird thing in my brain where I wasn't quite sure what was of my mom's time and what was of my time, but it was just everything.
Yeah.
Well,
and
it's
Now
what's
and
happening
Then
now
that.
With it, I mean, it's sort of the 20 to 30 year rule. It's things from the 90s are coming back now. I will see, I'll say kids, but adults in their, mid or early 20s who are wearing the chokers and the baby doll dresses that Drew Barrymore used to wear and the floral things. And it's so weird. It's the sort of 20 to 25 year thing where the fashion comes back.
Their whole aesthetic, even let alone fashion, the presence of the younger millennials online is so 90s-ish. The Tumblr core shit is so. That's just how things, that was cutting edge in the 90s. And they're look how shitty this is. I love it. And that's their graphic aesthetic is very much 1990s.
Totally.
You had Woodstock 94.
Yeah, that's
right.
Oh, that's a great example of
there
that.
There was a huge fire, right, at Woodstock 94?
Yeah,
that shit happened. There was the 2, because they tried to do Woodstock 2 other times.
Yes.
And it went poorly both times, I think.
Yeah.
There was a big fire, I think.
I remember watching Woodstock 94, watching the coverage of it and stuff.
Do you guys want for a moment for me to read off some of the people who played Woodstock 94?
Can we? Yes.
Do you want to take some guesses?
I can't. It was a big deal, right?
It was a big deal.
I'm going to say Pearl Jam.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, that's a good guess.
Pearl Jam did not play.
Oh, damn.
Do you want to take a guess?
I just want to hear them, I think.
So on the North stage, I'm not going to name everybody, but you had Blues Traveler,
Oh my God.
Delamitri,
Oh, Roll to Me.
yeah,
Roll to Me.
Roll to Me,
The greatest 2-minute song.
Live,
Oh, live.
James, remember
Wow,
James?
yeah.
Sheryl Crow,
Sweet.
Collective Soul,
Yeah.
Candlebox, and the Violent Femmes.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's
That's
all.
not bad.
On the South stage, there were a bunch of
Candlebox.
bands that don't even have Wikipedias. Huffamoose,
Don't know them.
maybe sounds familiar. Okay, they had Ravestock, which was Aphex Twin, D-Light. D-Light, The Groove is in the Heart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, Joe Cocker, Blind Melon,
Wow.
Cypress Hill, My Girl and Yours, Melissa Etheridge. I fucking love Melissa.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Etheridge.
God, Melissa Etheridge.
Melissa Etheridge tears it up.
She's
Yeah.
great.
I love Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash
Wow.
played. 9 Inch Nails, Metallica, and Aerosmith.
Damn.
I'm just gonna-
That sounds like the lineup when I saw the WBCN River Rave
Yeah.
in like the late 90s. They all
Similar
played.
lineup?
Yeah.
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 And
Aerosmith
also-
and Cypress Hill are definitely there.
That could also be Coachella next year.
Totally.
Like-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
God, the Cranberries, Salt and Pepper,
Oh, the Cranberries.
Primus.
Primus.
They had Country Joe back from the original one. Okay, real quick. Arrested Development, Allman Brothers. I didn't mean to read this many. Spin Doctors, Bob Dylan.
Ooh,
Wow.
Spin Doctors.
Yeah, Spin
Has he
Doctors.
accepted his Nobel Peace Prize yet?
Still no, he won't return their phone calls. By the way, stop it, Bob Dylan. Stop. You don't have to buy into your own hype or whatever it is you're doing where
I
you're not.
know.
It's the fucking Nobel Prize. Just be gracious.
Just take it. Just get it.
Be gracious and take your Nobel Peace Prize. I get what you're doing, and it's enough already.
I get what you're
I get what you're doing, and it's enough already. Yeah, the '60s revival. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack it with Woodstock '94.
No.
No, that's great.
But I know so clearly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was definitely stronger with, I think, girls than it was with boys.
I think that's probably true.
Because we didn't really
Yeah.
start rocking like the, like bell bottoms and like those really thin shirts or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was very pronounced. A lot of flowers, a lot of flower.
Yeah,
power
and
stuff.
just like that, everything at Claire's was like peace, love,
Yeah.
something, like.
oh,
Even
yeah.
going back to Clarissa
Yin
Explains It All,
yangs.
felt like it had kind of that aesthetic running through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like to where like I'm trying to make references to the 90s sometimes and I'll write in like peace signs and stuff and then it's like, no, that's like 60s. I'm like, but it's also 90s though. But, like,
Well, yeah, like,
Like-
the peace sign, the big flower, like the
Yeah.
big, daisy, the yin yang,
Yes.
like all of
every
those
necklace
things
I
that
had
we
was a
wore.
daisy.
Yeah.
And now that we say that, I have to amend when I said dudes weren't really into it, because they were. It was just like black dudes, actually. Like
Interesting.
hip-hop had a really strong 60s revival.
Yeah.
With like the Native Tongues movement, with like De La Soul and Tribe and everything. They all dressed like it was the 60s, like all over again, too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that stuff. So that's cool. Yeah. Great pick.
I like know if I'd been an adult in the 90s, if I'd been like over 18, I definitely would have like a peace sign tattoo or something.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have escaped it without that.
My older sister, Jessica, has like a dolphin peace sign.
Yeah,
tattoo,
like
but
there's no, I wouldn't have
Amazing.
escaped
Straight
it.
from the
Like,
90s.
there's no way.
All right, amazing pick. Any further comments on the
No,
the 60s
I think
revival?
that's,
Then I will move on to my fourth pick, and I'm going to take the Tupac Biggie rivalry,
Ooh.
the East Coast West Coast hip hop rivalry from the '90s. Now we already did '90s hip hop draft, so I'm not going to get into the details of the songs or anything like
Yeah.
that. But it was electric. It was like right when I was first starting into rap music, and like that was like I'm like, well, this is just what happens in rap now. People
Right.
die, they shoot each other. It's going to be like this. So Nas soon is going to get killed by Jay-Z.
Right.
Yeah. And it's crazy to just like, I mean, to get deep in it. Biggie was murdered here in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever go over the Peterson Automotive Museum,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
over there like by the Miracle Mile.
Yeah.
He was right outside of that.
Really?
That's where Biggie got killed.
Wow.
Isn't that great? It's
I
like
don't know where that is.
I
It's,
used to work right there
kind of
on
over by
Wilshire.
Fairfax-ish,
Right near
Wilshire area. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Fairfax and Wilshire? Okay,
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, he was at a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum, drove like 15 feet, got stopped at a stoplight, and that's where he was murdered.
Wow.
Yeah, so right there,
Wow.
they took him to Cedars and couldn't
That
do it.
is crazy.
Yeah. But it produced some amazing music, hit 'em up. I've always been a Biggie guy because my family's from New York, and I am a fat dude. And Biggie is like the saint He's like the patron saint of fat dudes. Like, he's like, look how fucking, like, he was like, well, he said himself, like, fat, black, and ugly as ever. And I can't relate to the black part. I don't know if I'm ugly. But it was just amazing, that level of confidence. And just to see somebody who is like, I should have actually maybe just taken Biggie. I'm not a huge Tupac fan. I think he has a lot of amazing songs, but whatever. Biggie just meant so much to me, like growing him, and then I connected to hip hop strongly, and the Beastie Boys, who were Jewish. So I'm like, see, we can be cool. Like from both of them, both like you can be cool and fat, you can be cool and Jewish.
Right.
But Biggie was like, he was just so dope. Even Hit 'Em Up was a Tupac song making fun of Biggie, but that song is so good.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Hit 'Em Up Style by Blue Cantrell.
Right. Hey, ladies, if
when
the man
wanna
get
buck
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to be confused.
It is. Yeah.
I love that song, too.
Can I ask you, there's a lyric in Hypnotize.
Yeah.
Where it's glossed over. It seems to be sort of out of nowhere. Where Biggie says, "Your daughter's tied up in a Brooklyn basement."
Yeah, your daughter's tied up in the Brooklyn basement. Yeah,
and then we just move on.
No, that's in the middle of how he got out of a trial. That's what it didn't really happen. He's at my arraignment. Note for the plaintiff: your daughter's locked up in a Brooklyn basement. Which means do not testify against me. Otherwise, we'll kill your daughter.
Yeah. All right. So it's a threat in the song.
It's a threat in the song. It's
All
like
right.
It's not an over threat. It's like explaining how he got out of this legal jam. It's like, at my arraignment, note for the plaintiff, your daughter's tied up in the Brooklyn basement.
I've always it's one of those things where the song will be on and it's sort of like I'm listening to the lyrics. I'm listening to the lyrics and then, sort of like in the background, not really paying attention to maybe what they mean. And then that line always just jumps out to me.
It does tell you your daughter's locked up in a Brooklyn basement.
Yeah.
It's like,
It is like, oh, wait, sorry, go back.
You're like, put your drink down for a second. Like, what am I dancing to?
Yeah. Well, again, it just goes back to like the school dances where, we'd be listening to like, Coolio's Gangster's Paradise. And again, like a bunch of like white suburban 12-year-old kids in a shitty public school in Massachusetts, like dancing around, singing these songs at the top of our lungs. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to remember the lyrics. Like, you're like, loked out gangsta bad trip. I just like
loked out gangsta set tripping banger. Loked out banker set tripping gangster.
Yeah,
and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Yeah, we'll murder you.
12-year-old kids singing this, going like Michelle Pfeiffer is so cool.
Yeah.
She sat the chair backwards. Yeah.
Yes, which, as you all know, that's what the cool teachers do.
That's the coolest way to sit. To sit in a chair. Yeah, so I'm gonna say the East Coast West Coast rivalry, but I really mean Biggie. I really love Biggie so much. The West Coast was cool. I mean, there was amazing shit coming out of it. There was that moment at, I think it was the Source Awards, when Suge Knight and Snoop Dogg went up to accept an award, and he was like he was throwing shade hard, like was it Snoop? Who? Yeah, I think it was either. Jesus, I'm really blowing this, but he was like, if you don't want your producers dancing in the videos. He's just talking about Puff Daddy. Come to Death Row Records. And like everyone he's talking shit about is also at the award show. So like his fights would break out in the back of it. It was just a very kinetic, raw time as like hip hop was struggling to go from like the gangster rap that they had sold like in the early 90s to this very glossy commercial sort of Jay-Z thing that it got to like in the later 90s. And it was like this weird Growing Pains era where it was like, oh, that got out of hand. People actually died. Some of our best people actually, and it was like, let's let this shit be fake from now on. So then it's like Nas and Jay-Z were like just, they didn't like each other, but it was still like kind of for show.
Sure. Yeah. Like the WWF.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, WWE.
Exactly. The World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah. I remember I was a post producer in New York for a while, and I remember them being like, so we're doing this thing for free. It's, it's for the WWF. And I was like, wait, they have money. Why are we? And they were like, no, the World Wildlife Fund. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Amazing. So what else makes sense, I hope, is your fourth pick. What a transition.
What a great transition.
What a transition. Kerri, it is now on you. It's your fourth pick.
And it's so funny because Erin and I have a lot of the same sensibilities and interests in the 90s. So I just want to apologize if there are people out there who are like, you know, like people were like, wow, this is very like, a lot of our stuff falls into the same category. So
other stuff happened. Yeah.
Apologize. I know people are like, I feel like there are definitely things that I mean, the 90s there's so much that was going on.
Apologize to the people to whom we are giving free entertainment.
Great.
Sorry. Yeah. No, thank you for listening. I'm just joking. We love you.
Because my first one was so specific, because again, I threw the first one out there. I guess I was setting my own bar, and I didn't realize maybe we could go a little bit like more broad or wider. So I'm going to go sort of like Erin did with the 60s and say the sort of 90s alternative rock chick bands.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I want to go, and because you and I are going to see Letters to Cleo tonight, like Letters to Cleo, Veruca Salt, Hole, PJ Harvey, Kay's Choice, Moonpools and Caterpillars, all of those bands. I remember when I was like, 13, 14, listening to 95.5 WBRU on the radio, and even like Liz Phair back then. This was before Liz Phair crossed. It was like more of like sort of, I don't want to say a pop singer, but was more mainstream. But like I loved these bands, and they were all like, even like later on with Fiona Apple, like her Criminal music video.
Oh man,
but,
she was so cool.
But those
cool, but she was
so
cool.
Those bands, like the song "Not an Addict" by Kay's Choice. I don't know if anybody knows that song out there, but it's like there's something about those bands that when I would listen to them as a young teenager just felt very empowering.
Yeah.
And the women in the music videos, even when No Doubt first came out, like the Just a Girl music video, which was a little bit later, of like these powerful women owning being center stage, and they played guitar and they were sweaty and they didn't give a shit, and it was just like there's something raw and real and just really nice about it. And the music it's like I just have this one playlist with all of these bands and songs, and it's so weird too because a lot of them went on to be like, the band in a movie that I love, like Letters to Cleo is the 10
like
Things I Hate About You.
Those were dudes, but like in Clueless.
Mighty Mouse was Clueless band. And like,
oh my God, I love that. Yeah.
The Donnas were in Drive Me Crazy, and Moonpools and Caterpillars were in Wish Upon a Star, that Katherine Heigl Disney movie.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's, and yeah, so there's something about them too, also just like being the school band.
Would this extend to stuff like Slater Kenny and like Bikini Kill and stuff like that?
Bikini Kill. I didn't discover Slater Kenny until years later when I was like watching Portlandia, and I was like, oh, wait.
Who's this Kerri Brownstein?
Kerri Brownstein's pretty cool, but yeah, they would, and I'm sure I'm missing some, but like I remember when like Violet by Hole, like that, listening to that on the radio and just like screaming along to it.
That song's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's awesome. It must be nice. This is not pining for to be oppressed, but like to hear empowering music when you're in a state where you really do need to be empowered.
Yeah.
Because when I hear empowering music, it's just like, go out there and, be the person you feel like you should, or whatever. It's just like this real low-key empowering thing. But when you're like, when society has their like fucking boot on your neck, you know what I mean? How much more satisfying must that empowering music be?
Yeah.
Just like that, singing along to it is so much more emotional, I bet.
Yeah.
You feel it more than anything.
Yeah, now I'm really excited to go to Letters to Cleo.
That's going to be great. Getting there, by the way, you guys are going to literally a Letters to Cleo concert.
I know. Our initial email, I was like, we were just emailing about details of the show, and it was just, I happened to need to talk to Erin, so I just kept it on all in this email chain.
Happy to be there.
And I was like, so cool, Erin, we'll do the podcast, and then we'll go to Letters to Cleo. I'll probably wear my Halloween costume, which is Liv Tyler's like blue sweater and plaid skirt and combat boots from Empire Records. Like, and I was like, that's the most
bye, Ian.
90s thing.
I was like, okay, perfect. This is going to be a good episode.
Yeah. And I was going to choose this, so I'm going to like lump it in the Empire Records thing. Like, and technically, Renee Zellweger did sing with Coyote Shivers, Sugar High on the Roof at the end of the movie. Yeah. But like, there was something about that, this idea of like being in like an alt rock chick band that I just like wanted so badly to be a part of that and to, it was so cool. I've realized now I'm sort of holding it. I'm an adult. I don't know if I'll ever be in a band, but if I do, I always will tweet every once in a while. I come up with like band names that I could potentially have. And they're always centered around the 90s. But one is Kimmy and the Gibblers.
Yep.
And
yeah.
the other one, which I literally just tweeted it 2 days ago, I kind of want to form a band called Buzz's Girlfriend Wolf.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I know I saw that tweet.
What is that a reference
From
to?
Home Alone.
Oh, God.
Remember he sees
Buzz's
the framed photo?
girlfriend, woof.
Buzz's Girlfriend Wolf.
Woof. Oh, that's right.
And then that's actually just a boy in a wig because they didn't want to be like mean to a girl.
Which I thought was very
Which
sweet.
I think is nice.
Yeah. Because like look at Heather's, like Martha Dump Truck.
Oh,
they were
God.
like,
Oh, man.
girl, we're casting you. Deal with it.
Totally. Like, here you go.
Well, that's an amazing pick. That's and I think there is a bit of a line between those and like Slater, Kenny, and Bikini Kill because those they were so more like it felt like so much louder and more punk and a little less accessible. And the ones you are talking about also had a little bit of a pop aesthetic to it.
I mean, Letters to Cleo,
Am I
yes.
wrong? I could be
Moonpools and
wrong.
Caterpillars,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, Hole is more grunge.
Yeah.
PJ Harvey was a little bit more like
Yeah, a little less
grunge. Remember
lesser,
that like
yeah.
creepy ass like little fish, big fish swimming in the
yeah.
water? Come back, Erin, give him my daughter. Like so creepy. Same with Kay's Choice. They were a little bit more like grunge, just slightly. But Letters to Cleo. And again, we were talking about them. I think when we first got here, like one of their biggest hits was a Cheap Trick cover.
Yes,
was I Want
Cheap
You to
Trick.
Want Me. And Cruel to Be Kind. But they had this one song called Here and Now, which I really hope they played at the show tonight, and maybe this is also why I love the TLC rap, because I, as a child, was often, I get excited very easily, so I will talk very quickly. And so I've sort of mastered the art of speed talking, so I always enjoyed being able to learn the lyrics of like a rap song, just so I could be like, look how fast I can talk.
Totally.
And so that's why, like, when I got the Crazy Sexy Cool album, I memorized the rap. And with TLC and with Letters to Cleo, they have this song Here and Now, which I would do it at karaoke anytime they had it. But there's this one part where she sings so fast. She says, the comfort of the knowledge of the rise above the sky above could never parallel the challenge of an acquisition.
Oh, my God.
And it was like, for me, the coolest thing to hear on the radio and to, at the time, when you like write the lyrics to a song down and you get them completely wrong, to do that and say the wrong ones. Jason Waterfalls.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so excited to see Letters to Cleo tonight.
That was that Blues Traveler in like Hook. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
For me,
right.
it was that thing,
Do you still know the...
Suck it in, suck it in, suck it in. If you're into rambling, make a spin move or else you win, and then begin to see what you're doing to me. This MTV is not for free. And then so softly I sing to the of love to racerate fear itself. But I can't keep these feelings on the shelf. I tried, but know that I lied. It'd be a financial suicide, and I've got too much pride inside to hide. Let it ride. I'll do it on the side. I maybe get someone hip 3-minute ditties. I'm gonna burst all of your balloons. I'm gonna burn all your cities to the ground. I found. And then he starts singing again.
Yeah.
So I have some of it. There's pieces
Oh my
missing.
God.
There's
Good
enough of
job.
the Rosetta Stone to learn Egyptian. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's, by the way, how I feel about It's the End of the World as We Know It.
Yeah.
I declared that to be my favorite song when I was a child, and I just would learn every single thing and just do every single lyric and just do it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
You still have every
I did
word
the
of it.
same
I feel like
thing.
if someone has every word now, they're a little psycho. Like a little bit.
I
Like,
don't have every word now, and I
Yeah.
don't have it like off the top of my head right in this moment.
Yeah.
I have the wrong version because I did
Yeah.
the thing where I wrote down, I would listen to it, write it down, rewind, listen to it, write
Yeah.
down the next lyric, rewind. I did that, and I did it with I Wish by Skilo.
Yes.
Totally. I got so
yeah.
many of them wrong. But yeah, with REM, I
Wish
know
is
it, but I
hard.
know all the wrong lyrics.
Totally. Yeah.
Did you get Leoshi, though?
Did I get what?
From Skilo's song? Leoshi.
Oh yeah,
Isn't it?
but she don't know me, but she's really fly.
Really
Yeah,
fine.
of course. Yeah, yeah. And I did a '90s game show, and it was super fun. It was a live show. We did it the Nerdist showroom, and I was like, we were putting together the game show questions, and one of them was a lyric to Skilo's I Wish. And my boyfriend was arguing with me. He's like, nobody's going to know that lyric. And I was like, everybody's going to know it.
Yeah.
And not a single person knew it.
What was do you remember?
It was the one where it goes, the one that they had to guess was, I got an 8-track and the spare tire in the back seat, but that's flat. And he was like, nobody's gonna remember that. And so we actually at another time that we did it, did the chorus, because I was like, oh, that's super easy.
Doesn't that rhyme with So How Could I Compete with That? Isn't that where that goes into? He says
I got an 8-track and a spare tire in the back seat, but that's flat. But you don't know, it's really waxy. I can't even get a date. So what you think of that? Or the brown night is the bomb night, but the raps could type. Yeah. So, but then we did it another time with a chorus, and somebody couldn't even get 6'4" Impala. So I was like, I quit.
Oh,
I give up.
weird.
I don't want that.
I was like, I
person
could
in
do
my
the chorus.
life. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what 6'4" Impala meant. I do now, but
like a 6'4" Impala, like the beautiful animal from the African plains. Amazing pick, 90s alt rock chick bands. Now, Kerri, it's also time for the first pick of the fifth round.
Oh man, I keep forgetting this is happening.
Pick.
Okay, I'm not gonna think too hard about. I'm trying to cover a lot of stuff here, but I'm gonna go with something I feel very strongly about, which is the sexy alter ego of Steve Urkel, Stefan Urkel.
Oh, that's a good one.
Beautiful pick.
Stefan Urkel. I don't know if you guys remember the first episode where we're introduced to Stefan Urkel, but Steve Urkel,
yes.
from Family Matters, Jaleel White, he's been so nerdy, and I forget which season Stefan Urkel was introduced, but it was definitely by the time we hit the 90s.
Later, yeah.
And the cool thing about seeing Steve Urkel as Stefan Urkel was that in the time before social media and where we could sort of track celebrities.
Yep.
I had never seen Steve Urkel outside of Steve Urkel. I'd never seen Jaleel White.
Yeah.
Be Jaleel White. I had only...
Who was a handsome dude.
Very handsome.
Very handsome.
Yeah.
Very handsome. And so it was so fascinating to me. I feel like I was getting like a behind the scenes glimpse. Like I was walking onto like the set of a TV show and, ooh, look at this is where, the boundaries end and everything And I remember I think it was in this episode, because as, Family Matters fans know, like years later, throughout the series, he would go back and forth between Steve and Stefan. And even when the show took a trip to Disney World or Disneyland, Disney World, I think, he proposed as Stefan, he proposed to Laura in the Magic Kingdom. But he, as Steve, like took a potion and like sort of was like, he was, like, flailing around the room, and he fell down behind the couch. And when he stood up, suddenly he'd sort of like lost that strange posture, and he suddenly had this cool dude posture. And the first time he popped up, and I don't even know if it was before he opened his mouth, but the audience screamed. The people in the audience, like that excited scream, like when you would see Zach and Kelly kiss on Saved by the Bell, which people didn't kiss often on that show, but when they did, there was a scream.
It was. Whew.
And I actually had Jaleel White as a guest on when I did my Geeking Out show, and he said that they actually had to shoot it twice because the audience screamed for so long that they just had to do it again, and they were just like, just don't scream as long this time. And he just was so cool and suave, and the character of Steve Urkel in and of itself he's amazing, but the fact that I think this TV show knew that this was an actor who was like getting a little bit older, and they wanted to be able to capitalize on the fact that he was also a good-looking guy. Yeah. And he was, he was like, meant to be just a guest star on that show. And by the later years, it was like the Steve Urkel show.
It's only him.
His face was the biggest one on those promos. So it was interesting. Like I'd never seen anything like it before on TV where you sort of get this, like someone who's sort of allowed to be themselves or just like a more attractive version of.
Totally.
I don't know. It was, so I'm saying Stefan Urkel.
It's also such an interesting thing because it's like the shift of that show being like a very straightforward family sitcom to having this whole other world where you're like, oh, this is allowed? Like, this is a thing?
Time travel. And
time travel. He went into space. He had an orangutan for a friend. He had a robot, a ventriloquist dummy of Steve Urkel. They were shrunk down at some point, him and Carl.
Yeah.
That show got very
it got really
magical.
Strange.
They did a thing that like I feel like sitcoms never do anymore. Maybe because they're not given enough time to, where it just was like fucking went insane.
Yeah.
I guess 2.5 Men got there a little bit towards the very end of it, but like not that crazy.
Yeah.
Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne too at the very
like
it was all
we're going to completely flip the premise of this show on its head by making the Connor family win the lottery.
Rich
right.
And then I feel like they tried to buy it back in the finale by being like, it was all a dream. Actually, Dan's dead. Life is depressing.
Yeah.
Right. And Felicity too, which started in the 90s but ended in the 2000s, went crazy. The last season, like there's time travel involved. There's this whole thing. Yeah, it gets really crazy. It's J.J. Abrams, you have to remember. So there's shades of Lost. I have this whole conspiracy theory where you can like track all of J.J. Abrams like body of work through Felicity.
It's all part of the same universe.
Yeah, because there's so many references to Star Wars in Felicity, and then like there's an episode that definitely like is very Lost adjacent and stuff. It's very interesting.
I always love those like worlds where like all the Bret Easton Ellis characters are in the same world.
Yeah.
Like Stephen King.
Yep.
The Adam Sandler verse.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's real.
That thing is great.
All the Adam Sandler movies happen in the same universe, and there's like reference. If Sean O'Connor is like him and this guy Eloy and Allie, they're apparently all just in the same universe. They figured it out. There's like references to other movies in the movies. Anyway, Stefan or Kel, amazing pick.
Just great. Very important.
I will
like
now
the spokesman of the 90s.
He is Stefan, and good for fucking Jaleel White. It's sad that he's kind of sitting on the shelf because he was clearly a talented comedic actor who's also this gorgeous dude.
Totally.
I mean, he's worked. He had a really funny web series for a while where he played a sort of former child actor who was like giving acting classes and acting advice, but he was like sort of like a sketchy, terrible person. It was really funny. And, you know, he was on Dancing with the Stars and he hosted a show that was kind of like Fear Factor, but in the dark on the Sci-Fi Channel. You know, he will be on an episode of Hollywood Darlings as well.
No. I don't think we've seen the last of him.
No, I don't think so either.
We're about to see the last of me, though, because it's time for me to make my final pick. The fucking
Smooth.
transitions
So smooth.
today. I'm going to write a segue home.
I liked it.
All right. So with my final pick, I'm going to select GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. Which was
interesting.
1997. The movie came out in 95. The video game didn't come out till 1997. And it changed everything, I think, both for me and for video games in general, because it was kind of the first multiplayer like shooter where you like, and it was everything. It was every sleepover, it was every birthday party, was just getting like geeked out on Mountain Dew and eating pizza and just playing like, and no, you couldn't be Oddjob because he was too short, and if he ducked, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
So we would just play. That's all we would do until like 3 a.m, and then just like pass out after the sugar wore off, and then you'd wake up and play a little bit again in the morning, and then go home. But it changed everything. I remember when it first came out, my older brother, who's 9 years older than me, and he wasn't living at home, but he'd like, bro, I got a N64 in this game GoldenEye. I was like, oh, okay, whatever, let's check it out. And he plugged it into the TV, and he let me play it, but only for like half an hour, just enough to get me like completely hooked. And he's like, all right, I gotta run. And I'm like, will you leave the video game system? And he was like, no, I'm not going to leave the video game system. I just bought over here. And like he left, and it was like I was going through heroin withdrawals. It was just like so hard to not play.
Were you guys playing multiplayer, or were you actually like playing the game?
We played the single player game, which was also good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Also super good. There were like really fun levels in there. And really hard. I remember like the monument park, that Russian like monument park that you go through.
Is that the one that's outdoors with the snow?
No, it's outdoors at night. And, like, there's all these statues around.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
I just remember I remember the bunker.
Yes.
I remember the bunker, because that one
was great multiplayer, too.
Yeah, that was really great for multiplayer. I'm with you. It was weird. I had the game, but I had never seen the movie. So for me, the game was the only reference point I had.
The game is so much better than the movie.
So funny that you say nobody could be Oddjob, because if you ducked down, you were super short. We had the same exact rule.
It became national.
Yeah, it was me and my sister. She was 2 years older than me, and I don't know if we bought the game or if our parents bought it for us, and we were just like, oh, cool. But yeah, I remember it was like the sort of more slightly grown up version of Mario Kart. It was the multiplayer game, and you like go through and like the different weapons and
proximity mines.
Yes,
you could play golden guns where it was one shot kills.
Yeah. Oh, the golden gun. Yeah. It was so fun. I want to play it now. It's been a long time since I've played it.
It's still good. I've played it recently. It's still good. It holds up. The graphics are crazy, but it's still really fun. If you were to rank all the video games I've ever played in terms of like how much fun I had, that's got to be right near the top. So, and for so long, that was like the GOAT game for like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People kept putting out games. They put out like GoldenEye Killers, like Perfect Dark, that were like supposed to be better. And everyone was like, nah, get out of here with that shit. Like one weird kid would be like, you want to play Perfect Dark? It's like, shut up, Kyle. And nobody does. GoldenEye, I couldn't, in the 5th round, I can't leave GoldenEye on the bench.
Cool. I'm going to tell you, I've never played it.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. I had Sega. I still have my Sega Genesis.
You were a Sega.
I was a Sega kid. Yeah. My brother got into Nintendo and stuff, but it was like years after. But I like loved Sonic the Hedgehog. Love Sega.
Also, Jaleel White, voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Really?
Wow,
Yeah,
I
in the
did
cartoons.
not know that.
Yeah.
Small world.
I used to love that cartoon.
That cartoon was great.
great.
Sonic was a fucking
Sonic
super
was
fun
great.
game. I preferred Sonic to Mario, but I preferred GoldenEye to Sonic.
Love Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just never played GoldenEye.
Grabbing ranks. Now Sonic's like a weird Twitter thing now.
Yeah.
Like weird Twitter's into him.
It is a weird Twitter thing, yeah.
Calm down, weird
I still
Twitter.
play Sonic 2 sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah. I have my Sega Genesis hooked up that I got for Christmas in 1992. So I've played it as recently as 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic. So you're a Sonic head.
Yeah.
It's a super fun game. Tails is a weird character.
I love Tails.
Yeah.
God, he's great.
Yeah. Early pioneer of, the disabled. No. Just trying to make everything very woke. Okay. So that's my pick, GoldenEye. Man, we've been here for so long, but it's a whole decade.
It's a whole decade.
Erin Mallory Long. You need to bring this ship into port and make your final pick.
This is so hard.
Yeah.
This is really hard.
I'm looking at my list and I have left so many things that are
Me
deeply,
too.
deeply, deeply important
Me
to me.
too.
on
I haven't
the
even
table.
I haven't even been able to get into the things like I wanted to try to stay with pop culture, but things like recording songs off the radio. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Those are all in
AOL
play.
chat rooms.
Yeah.
Like totally.
Y2K guys.
Yeah.
Y2K.
exactly.
Yeah. Big dog T-shirt. No, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna. God, this is really tough.
This is really hard.
This is really tough. I'm gonna pick the CD Boys to Men 2.
Okay.
It's the first CD I ever bought with my own money. With I saved up. I got it in 5th grade. I saved up my allowance and then went to Media Play to buy the album. It has a giant Roman numeral 2 on the front. It's blue.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
It's what Unbended Knee is on there. I'll Make Love to You. All the
Yes.
greatest ones.
Mm-hmm.
And R&B in particular, any R&B was the only music I listened to in late elementary school.
It was strong. It was a strong era.
Yeah, it was just really. It was Mariah Carey, Boys to Men,
And remember
Soul
when-
for Real.
Oh God, Soul for Real.
Yeah. 3LW, I think, was in that range.
Yeah.
TLC was
Yep.
R&B. Yeah.
All of
All,
that.
oh God, All for One.
All for One.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men did? They did the most beautiful duet, "One Sweet Day."
That
Which, if you've ever had a friend die in high school, is a real bummer of a song to listen to.
I bet. That video is great. It's them recording the song.
Yeah,
So it's
I love
them
those videos, the back and behind
cash,
the
and it's
scenes.
them
Yeah.
recording the song. I will say, recently at karaoke, we put on One Sweet Day in a private room, luckily,
Yeah.
and I took it upon myself to sing the Mariah part.
Wow, that's
I'm-
ambitious.
Aaron, what happened?
I'm not gonna say that it didn't go well, but I'm also
Oh.
not gonna say that it went well.
Are
But
you being modest, or
it's
did it-
I could do it. I can physically do it,
Yeah.
but then I am dead.
Did you collapse to the ground?
Yeah, then I'm then I have expired and I have no
James
energy
Brown
left.
leaving the stage. You know,
Yeah.
two people sort of put a cape over you.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Mariah Carey. I'm from Schenectady, New York, originally, and Mariah Carey's video for "Hero" was shot on the stage, a concert on the stage of Proctor's Theater,
Okay.
which is in Schenectady. Mariah Carey was the patron saint of all of the girls that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So we loved Boys to Men, we loved Mariah Carey. They did a song together. It changed everything for
was
us.
amazing.
It was just it was the greatest thing that ever happened.
It united your world.
Yeah. We in 5th grade, I actually was part of an all-girl lip sync performance of Unbended Knee.
Wow.
We wore we all wore I want to say bike shorts. I'm pretty sure bike shorts, and
Yeah.
then a solid color T-shirt. But I had a solid color mustard yellow oversized T-shirt and also mustard yellow sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
So I had it was very matchy. I was really into that in elementary school, and we lip synced to the whole song. And I was doing the part right after. I don't remember their names. The guy who has the deepest voice
Wanye?
No,
sings-
not
Is it not
Wanye.
Wanye?
sings his part.
Who's
It was
deep
the guy.
voice?
If
It's,
you show me
the
Boyz II Men with
bass.
all of their,
What if I tell you all the names? Will you know it?
I think so.
Yeah, it's not.
He had facial hair. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can picture him, but I don't know what his name is. But I ended up being the one in the front of the stage when that happened happen. We
Mark
hadn't planned.
Sean Stockman?
No, it wasn't Sean.
Nathan Morris?
It might have been Nathan. Who else?
Mark Nelson? Michael McCary?
It wasn't Sean.
And it wasn't Wanye.
And it wasn't Wanye. Definitely wasn't Wanye.
I wanted it to be Wanye.
It might be Sean.
But
I'm also not looking at photos.
We're never going to find the answer.
I know.
Oh, wait, you need to see the photos? Oh,
yeah.
But then,
well,
continue with your story.
That was it. It was just we
yeah.
hadn't like planned for it. And so it just ended up being this like very uncomfortable thing where like I am a 10-year-old girl and I weighed like 60 pounds and I was like at the front of the stage in our like cafeteria / gym at the school talent show. And like that deep voice is like booming. And we like hadn't planned for someone to lip sync this. And I was like, and just like stared out into the crowd and then like waited for my part to come and then like lip synced like my part.
Yeah.
There's also something really funny about like the art of the lip sync in so much as like with a show like Lip Sync Battle, it's you have to put so many theatrical elements around it, like cool dance moves and costumes and props, and because otherwise you're like at the heart of the lip sync, it is a, I don't want to say talentless skill,
because people can do it poorly.
Oh,
they can
sure,
lip sync very poorly.
But it's such a skill. It's a skill that is just so unimpressive on its own that it takes either a song that might be really hard to lip sync to, but like we used to have like lip sync, like battles at our school, and it's like, when you actually get down to it, what it is a bunch of kids in an auditorium. Like, I remember somebody doing, like, was it Debbie Gibson who sang Electric Youth? But I remember huge auditorium. The sound is, like, not great. It's very echoey. Yeah. So what you actually hear more of are, like, the kids uncomfortably adjusting, in the seats. And, like, the teachers are, like, coughing. Yeah. But you sort of have this like, quiet, echoey song in this giant auditorium. Like, the volume is always a little too low. And the kids on stage, you can like hear the spittle in their mouths as they're lip syncing. And you're like, what are we doing?
Talent in quotes show.
Yeah. So interesting. I'll Make Love to You, though. Another one of those songs where, 13, 14 years old, we're in a basement having a Halloween party slow dancing to 13, 14-year-old kids. Like singing I'll Make Love to You.
Yeah. I danced at the first prom I ever went to sophomore year of high school. They played it. And it was
you
like.
Went to prom as a sophomore?
I did.
Holy shit.
My boyfriend was a senior.
Whoa.
And,
Erin.
And so I went to 3 proms. They played it, and it was like obviously well after the song came out, like as like a throwback or whatever, but they played I'll Make Love to You, and then like we were slow dancing to it, and I was like, this is the most sexual experience I've ever had in my life.
Am I pregnant?
Like, oh my God. Because just like when I was a kid, just listening to that song made me blush. Yeah. Like I was like, I can't handle this.
And it goes all the way back to what we were talking about at the beginning.
Song.
Totally.
You're not listening to that in the car with your dad.
No.
Amazing pick, Boys to Men 2, classic album. Getting away from the New Jack Swing a little bit and doing a lot more just saying, just one for the ladies, that one. Yeah. That wraps it up. That concludes the All Fantasy Everything 90s draft. Just to go over what the picks were again very quickly. Kerri Doherty, you led us off with Lisa Left Eye Lopez's rap and Chasing Waterfalls. And then you went the Blair Witch Project. And then Snick, specifically the original Snick, but we're giving you all of Snick. 90s alt-rock chick bands. And then Stefan Urkel. Amazing.
Pretty good.
Amazing list. I went with OJ Trial number 1. And then the 92 Dream Team Olympic basketball team. And then Seinfeld. The Biggie Tupac East Coast West Coast rap beef. And then Goldeneye. Erin Mallory Long, you started off with the Rachel haircut, and then it went with a little show called The Simpsons, and then Nev Campbell, the 60s revival, the sort of hippie revival that took place in the 90s, and then Boys to Men 2. Fantastic. What a great decade.
I feel good about it.
Pick your shit up the 2010s.
It was really hard, though. Yeah. There's a lot left on my phone that I was
thinking of going Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan.
Totally. That was
like, we need some more of these like big events in the 90s.
That was deeply important to me.
The Clinton presidency, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The Real World.
Rap metal, Real World.
God, I love Real World.
We talked about
I know.
Pogs, but Pogs.
Oh, I had a whole category of toys and snacks.
Yeah,
oh,
same. Like
snacks,
Tamagotchi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Scholastic Book Fair.
Oh, the book fairs.
Butt scooters in gym class.
Butt scooters. Oh, I remember butt scooters.
The giant rainbow parachute in gym class.
Yeah, what is that
What
thing?
is that?
I don't
Why
know.
do they do that?
Do they still do that in gym class?
I hope so.
I really
I think
wanna
they
know.
do.
They
My
must.
nephew's 6. I think they did it in his
Gym class can't have changed that much.
Because like
It's not
that
like they're in there like
that wasn't gym.
new.
Like you just sit and you're holding a parachute and then
Yeah.
you like put it around yourself.
That day
and
the
then you,
gym
like,
was
just kinda-
JIM. It was just like some guy named Jim's idea of a good time. Yeah.
So
Everybody
weird.
put on pennies. We don't wash them.
Yeah.
They never wash the pennies.
No. Oh my god.
I want to thank both of you so much for being on the podcast. I had so much fun.
Thank you
It was
so
great.
much.
Blast.
This
You
was
guys-
so great.
You guys were amazing. Make sure you check out the stuff online. What is it, Squid? What's the Twitter again?
Squid eat squid.
Squid Eat Squid and at Erin Mallory Long.
Erin Mallory Long.
All right, get into it. And thank you so much for listening to another new episode of All Fantasy Everything. If you'd like to, go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars. Don't give me that 4-star shit. Don't you fucking tell me this was a 4-star episode. And subscribe it. Tell your friends if you think they'd enjoy it. And tune in next Thursday for another brand new episode of All Fantasy Everything.
That was a HeadGum podcast.